Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Encounters, the #1 late-night spiritual UFO talk show. I'm your host, CmdrAleon. Hello, JCS Marinay. Good to see you, Susie Graves. Everybody, Bob Stevenson, Mandy Lynn, 353. Karen, welcome, Viking Girl. Everybody, Greg Pfeiffer, Lisa, and everybody all over the world, wherever you might be. You're watching Encounters. Welcome to the show, everybody. Just getting started. Hey, Catherine. Just getting started. And it's going to be a beautiful night. Hey, Trisha Northstar. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. And everybody out there. Johnny of the Third Kind, welcome. And we are with you here on another beautiful evening on a Thursday night. Karen, welcome to the show. All the new people, all the regular viewers, wherever you may be, welcome. Sue, welcome to our show. Hey, Casey, good to see you. And we are getting ready for a cosmic weekend. Yes, indeed. We're going to be doing our Ashtar Command gathering on Saturday night. Weather in New England is going to be perfect. Hey, Shelbel, so we're going to be hoping to do our C5 in a way that's going to the skies are going to be beautifully clear Saturday night. And we're hoping that if we have any interaction with our star family and their ships, that you'll be able to see them as well. We'll be using our tripod and everything. We're going to have our night vision equipment out there in the apple orchard field. And yeah, so it's going to be nice. Hey, Labola, good to see you. Young Skywalker, welcome to the show. Puck, Tom B, everybody out there, for all our relatives, good to see you. Wherever you may be, you're here. Millard, good to see you as well. Brian, let's see here. Joel, everybody coming there. I see some new names. Robbie Harvey, Zayday, good to see you, Zayday. So tomorrow night is our Ashtar Command Q&A. That's on Friday nights. That will be tomorrow night. Today is Thursday night. So it's good to see everybody. Kathy Stewart, Annie Marie, everybody out there, Joe Grimes, Greg. I'm just reading people's names. Brian, thank you for the share. Also, we're going to set our goals up tonight here. We're doing our goals, which is important to help support the show, support the work we're doing here. So we're doing the hat and mustache. We're doing 8 of those to start tonight. And it doesn't take too many TikTok coins for that, so we figure that'll be an easy one. Half Pint Committee, someone is trying to scam us using your name. I need to come on and tell everyone. Okay, definitely. Whoever's doing that, that's not good. And we need using my name? Really? Hey, hello.
Hey guys.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. Somebody's trying to scam using use my name, who's not me.
Yeah, so I got this thing on my Cash App today, and it says send $25 to Commander, and I'm like, wait a minute, he wouldn't be doing that.
No, I never do that.
So I got her name and everything for you guys, so nobody send anybody any money.
Right. Don't do that. You know, if you don't see me on live having you donate to my show, then don't. If anyone says send money to them for me, don't do it. Yeah, that's not good. You know. Hey, Karen, good to see you. So I'm glad you're saying you're bringing that to the attention of everybody, because there are people out there that do stuff like this on TikTok, and it's not good.
No, that's crazy. I was like, whoa, I gotta say something because that means she's doing it to all of us. Everybody that's on the site, she's probably doing it to.
Yeah. Do we know who it is?
Yep. And I got her name. Do you want her name?
What's the first name of the person's TikTok?
Jessica. And I can't find
Really?
her on TikTok or Facebook, so I don't know where she's coming from.
Huh. That's pretty weird. Well, let's keep monitoring it. So whoever this person is, Jessica, whoever she is, we need to just watch out for her, you know. And if someone does that, if there's somebody out there trying to do that to me, they're probably doing it to other people, you know.
I
It's
just
good to
thought it
have.
was pretty messed up.
It is messed up. So let's keep our ears and eyes open for this person, whoever she is. If she comes on my show and she does this, we'll just report her. You know,
I
let's not
reported
stand.
her, so I reported
Okay.
her.
And there's a lot of people with that name out there. There's a lot of people all over the place. So we don't know who this person is at all. But whoever she is, you know, and yeah. So we'll just keep it. We won't say more about it. Whoever that person is, wherever they are on TikTok. I know TikTok has a lot of people doing stuff like this, whoever they are, you know, and that, so to keep it positive, we now will just, if this person's using different names or different, you know, just coming up with different names every time, um, I don't know how they're doing it, but you know, it's happening all over. You know, on Facebook, it happens. You know, even on
Thank you,
Facebook, which I've been on
Trisha.
for years. You know, so we'll see. We'll keep our eyes and ear open. You know, I appreciate the heads up if someone tries to do that. Number one, it's one thing if someone's on here saying give support when I'm on, but if someone out there who's like somewhere in Europe or Africa or Asia somewhere using a name like that, wherever they are, it's just we have to be aware of it. That's all. No big deal. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We got bigger things to deal with, which is the galactic transformation of a planet called Earth. But I
Yeah.
appreciate it. It's a very common name, yeah. So there could be 10,000 different people with that name somewhere in the world, and it could be whoever that is. Might not even be a female. It could be a troll somewhere in India. It could be whoever it is. Who knows? But we'll deal with it. You know, it's all good. It just means that the commander is making waves. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, I know my show's popular, but it gets to the point where people have to do that wherever they are. No worries. You know, we got bigger things to deal with, which is the transformation of planet Earth and the liberation of our planet from those extraterrestrial beings that were involved in trying to distort the truth from the people of this planet. So I appreciate it, Mary.
So I had a ship out here, but it took off.
You had a ship out there in the Appalachians. When was that?
Just about 20 minutes ago.
And can you describe, just for people that know, you're in the Appalachian Mountains. You and Ray, you live up in a remote area in Pennsylvania in the Appalachians. And you had, how big was the ship when you visually were out there looking at it? Hey,
Well,
Sherry.
it was like way up there, and it kept changing shapes. Like it kept morphing on me when I
Yeah,
was snapping pictures of it. I couldn't get it on video, but I got it on pictures.
yeah, I understand that. You know, that's pretty interesting that that's happening. Obviously, you're having constant activity. You know, and the Appalachians are throughout any person that lives in the Appalachian region. That's always been a place where there's been a lot of for years extraterrestrial activity. The Appalachians are very much like that. You know, I think you're aware of that. You guys are living there.
Oh
Would
yeah,
you say
it's
that?
very active here.
Hmm. You know, so yeah, uh, and
Found
that's one
out
of the
that
things.
there's a lithium mine under us.
There's a what? What's going on? You're kind of breaking up.
Just found out there's a lithium mine
I
under
don't
us.
know if you're being where you are, where if you're walking in the room, your ability through internet is kind of frozen. Now you're back. Okay, what were you saying? You
I said, "Well, I just found out there's a lithium mine under us."
a lithium mine? How'd you know that? How'd you find that out?
It just showed up on the news today.
On the map?
Uh, no, on the news, like the news break, you know?
Oh, on the news break that there's a lithium mine in the Appalachian Mountains below your ground level. It's all
Yeah,
lithium.
it's crazy.
And so, what do you think that means? I mean, I
Well,
don't really say there's a connection at all with what's happening, but what's the fact you have a lithium mine underneath your property?
yeah, well, I'm
Interested
not
me.
sure if it's under our property, but
Or it's in the
I
Appalachian
mean, it's
Mountains.
crazy because we have running water, we have running lava, and now we have a lithium mine.
Wait a minute. You have running water, you said. You have running lava. Can you
Hmm.
explain when you say something like that, that there's lava in, is it lava in your region or lava under where you live?
Under, like way under.
And how did you find that out?
That was so that we found out from a friend of mine.
And how did the friend find out?
He's done some research around this area.
Hmm. So he did the research. How did he find out about, well, how do you find out, and this is for educational purposes, how do you find out there's lava in your area or your region under the ground?
Well, I'm not sure how he found out, but he's also the one that told me I also have running water under the ground right here.
Right. So let's deal with the running water too. Have you dug into the ground to find the running water?
No.
Okay. But how does he know there's running? I'm not saying there isn't, but how does he know there's running water under the ground where you are?
I guess he's done research on this whole area because it is so active here that we're trying to figure out why it's so active.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm talking paranormal and our space beings, you know?
Right.
So he was just checking it out and he goes, "Well, Mary, didn't you know you have lava under you and running water?" And then
Yeah.
I just find out about the lithium mine.
Interesting. And good evening, April. I think I saw April coming here. Good evening, sister. Good to see you on a Thursday night.
Hi,
And yeah,
April.
so that's interesting. I find it very interesting. This stuff, obviously, the Appalachians been around for a long, long time. That whole region historically. So who's to say that? I mean, I'd love to find out if he was able to be on your TikTok to question him how he found out where the lava is and how he figured all that out.
Well, I'll have to find out if he'll come on here with us.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would love to pick his brain in a positive way. Obviously, he's interested in all this. Does he have an interest in ancient things about the area, or what is
Yes.
his? Oh, so he's interested in the ancient parts of things within where you live in the mountains.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, if you can get him on one night, we'd love to hear his story in terms of what he understands and how he knew about lava under the ground, the water running under the ground, which is never impossible because there are underground streams in a lot of places. Even up here where we are, there are places where there are underground streams, that exist. And let's see, and we have a Novus Oak, I see you. You want to be a guest. Novus Oak, can you let me just also mention we love interviewing people. We want to know a little bit about Novus Oak, who you are. You have to be over 18 to be on the show. Number two, no smoking of any sort, no drinking of any sort. Three, no obscenities or foul language. And I guess the final part is no paranormal discussion whatsoever. So, Novus Oak, please, I'm 31. Okay. No, so what did you want to share? I'll bring you up. What did you want to share? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What it is related to encounters? I'd be happy to
So,
bring you up.
Commander, I
Yeah,
have a question for you.
yeah.
So, don't I believe that the paranormal and our star people are connected? Do you believe that?
No, I think the paranormal is a separate definition for me. That's why I stay away from it. It has to be separate because if you mix it all up, it becomes a real mess. And I think you have to separate them. Because coming here from off planet, everything for me has been very galactic through my whole life. And so it has to be separate. If you start mixing the energies up like that, it gets to the point where you could have a problem. You're best separating it. If you separate it, you're not going to have a problem. That level of vibration is different than the space vibration is different than the paranormal vibration. They're not the same. Totally different.
Right. I was just
And
curious.
yeah, so now you'll know exactly where I stand, and I always have been very, very, very strongly clear about that. In my whole life, at least my adult life, and when I do my radio show and when I do everything else. We're going to bring Novus on. Novus has 398. Let's see here. And let's see, we're going to bring Novus on as our first guest. We have Half Pint, my friends, and Ray up in the Appalachian. Novus, welcome to Encounters, the #1 spiritual UFO talk show here on social media.
Hi, Novus.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, well, our cat perished the other day.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's okay. He's our second cat, and his brother was born on 420, and his brother perished as well from a spinal injury. It's not our fault, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here for
Right.
a slightly different reason. It's more of no, I'm definitely not trying to go to the supernatural paranormal side.
Yeah, we're staying away from that.
Yeah, and so I'm going to bring it back to the aliens. So I don't think that the cats were well. Obviously, they weren't human, but I don't think they were. They were very unique. And
I think my dog's human.
yeah, well, that would be interesting. It's just, you know, the alien experiences I've experienced was a surgery, and I wasn't in surgery. I was in my bedroom, but
You're in your bed.
I was on the floor, and I can't remember if I was sleeping or not, but there was these red lights, and it's like they had my brain in two places. By them, I don't know what kind of figures were really there. I bet if I thought about it, I could, I just worry about piecing in blanks, and memories.
Let me ask you a question. First of all, what's your first name?
Do you want my real first name or
Yeah.
what I go by? Oh, my real first name is Sherry.
Terry. Okay, I think you said Terry, right?
Sherry.
Oh, good. Nice to meet you, Terry. So tell me, first of all, one of the things I want to know is what year did all this start happening and aliens don't exist, but when did you start having non-terrestrial contact?
Non-terrestrial.
Yeah, that's basically saying, space people, extraterrestrial and communications or contact. As you're telling your story, it's related to the extraterrestrial thing, which is what we're talking about. So when people come and they'll say, "Oh, Commander, I started 10 years ago. I had my first encounter with some space person or being." Can you give us some sort of a background as to when things started occurring with you?
About 2016, I had a spiritual awakening, and I sort of pieced together the fact that I might be talking to aliens, or at least aliens were a part of that spiritual experience. Aliens being a variety of characters, right? But anyway, hold on. What were you trying to say?
Yeah, well, that was my cat making noise. But so aliens really don't exist. It's just a word that's on the Earth media. It's been popularized by documentaries. but extraterrestrial intelligence is what really does exist. Aliens don't exist at all, but extraterrestrials do, meaning non-terrestrial, meaning beings from other planetary worlds beyond Earth.
Extraterrestrials.
Hey, Jackie F. Go ahead.
Okay. So the extraterrestrials is what I'm referring to, more
Right.
so because there's no technology on this earth that I can think of that we have right now that would allow a surgery where my brain is in pieces to occur, whether it be metaphysical, spiritual, or physical.
Mm-hmm.
I've had I don't know what time or what day it was, but I woke up with a mark on my forehead, and then it was really like a scar, like a surgery scar, like somebody had cut into my skin.
You had a mark. Did you say you had a mark on your forehead that looked like a star?
A scar, like a scar.
Like a star.
No, a scar,
A
SCAR.
scar. Okay. Scar, not star. Okay. Thank you. I didn't hear that right. Okay. So you had a scar on your forehead. And do you have any idea how you got the scar?
No, it just appeared overnight.
It appeared overnight. And can you talk more into your mic? Some people are having trouble hearing.
Oh, yeah, I can scoot forward. There we go.
There you
Can you
go.
hear me better?
So can you describe, like, before that overnight thing happened, you were like, were you totally asleep and woke up and you found the scar on your forehead?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah. When you were sleeping, when you woke up the next day or whatever, you had this scar on your forehead, as you were telling us, right? Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was perfectly stitched together.
Did you?
It was, except it had like this film over it, like glue,
It had a
and
blue. Did you say it had a blue film over the scar on your forehead?
like glue,
Blue. The color
glue.
blue.
No, like glue, like
Oh, glue. Okay.
super
You're
glue.
saying glue, not blue. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously, I'm trying to figure out some things here. That's why I'm asking all these questions. Um, did you have any visual encounter with whatever's going on? Not just with that, any visual encounter with any kind of space person or visitor that came to you in your house?
Yes, there was. There are a couple instances of some strange things happening. One, very very clearly at night when everybody's sleeping, and
Mm-hmm.
there was one time where I was laying in bed and I was staring at the ceiling, and I don't remember if my eyes were open or closed, but it was dark, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's like everything zoomed in into this circle, and the light wasn't the light anymore, and there were these shadowy figures around me. Man,
The
that was
shadow, the shadowy figures. What year was that? And they were around you in your house, in your bed, in your kitchen. Where were they?
they were in the bedroom around my bed.
Bedroom. And these shadowy figures, how tall were they? Do you remember?
Ooh, that's a tough one because I was laying down.
Mm-hmm.
They seemed kind of stretchy, like they stretched upward,
Hmm.
and how tall were they? OMG, there. No. That's a different instance. I'm sorry, I almost combined something else. Um, it was stretchy, and there were like six of them, and they were. Gosh, how tall were they? I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know how tall they were.
And did you have? And what year was this that happened with these shadowy beings that you're talking about?
Somewhere between 2017 and 2019.
So roughly within a 2 year, yeah, about a 2 year period. And did they communicate or say anything to you, or even some of the beings will do telepathy if they can do it. Did they communicate anything to you?
Health and healing. It seemed like they were benevolent. It seemed like the ones that did the surgery. I found this out after the terrifying experience went away. It seemed like they were benevolent, but like they were trying to help heal me.
So you're saying these shadowy figures um, were trying to heal you?
Yes.
So you didn't have any fear of them. Did they kind of any way express that to you or communicate that to you when you had that happen?
No, no. Actually, I was tired. I mean, I wasn't
Hmm.
tired of them. I was afraid of them.
So you were afraid of them. Okay, so I'm really listening here. You were afraid of these tall, shadowed beings that were around you, and then you said you think they were there to heal you. Am I correct?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when everything happened. It started in 2017. I mean, yeah, 2017, then 2018 to 2019
Mm-hmm.
is when I had the feeling of the surgery, the experience of the surgery, and also of the figure standing over the bed.
Were you sick? Were you sick at all before they came over?
No, I am diagnosed with mental disease, but that doesn't necessarily mean that aliens have, I mean, extraterrestrials haven't come visit. But no, I wasn't sick as in like a cold
So,
or
looking where you are now in 2024, since then, I can only imagine that not only in those 2 years, what now are you having any uh, visitations by extraterrestrial intelligence?
yes. We call him Buttons, and he's either a fairy or he's an extraterrestrial, and I'm unsure of which, but he's an interdimensional being, and we call him Buttons, or Bug, and he smoke he talks to us through smoke signals.
Hmm.
Um, so I can't show you on here because of rules, but I have pictures of the smoke from my smoking utensil.
Hmm.
In the smoke there is signs and signals and letters and visuals,
Hmm.
pictures of that.
So I know April would be knowledgeable in this whole area. You said that you believe you're having communications with fairies, correct? Or a fairy or fairies?
That's what we've believed so far. Yeah.
Okay. And what can you express to our audience what the fairies you're having contact with, what they look like?
Oh, they're invisible.
They're invisible.
Yeah, I've had there's a game we play with the lighters because I'm a smoker, and I have to shout out legalize King Charles now for eternity. It seems like it started as a game, but now it's a little ridiculous. And I have to
Hmm.
shout out legalize King Charles, like legalize cannabis King Charles, and then the lighters will reappear. I've had one reappear right in the middle of nowhere,
Hmm.
invisible, right in front of my husband too.
Hmm. And also, just also going to be adding on another person with us here. We have Terry, we have my friend Mary, and also JB. Let's see if she's still here. If you press the accept button, JB, you'll be able to, or go to the multi guest option. multi-guest option on the TikTok on my screen here. If you press that, we can get you up here on the show Encounters. You're watching Encounters. We have Terry here. We have Half Pint, who's in the Appalachian Mountains, and they have contact with the Anunnaki. About to. So yeah, so JB, we are actually trying to bring you up. I just pressed the button to bring you up on the screen here. You were on last night sharing some stuff in the comments. Press on the multi-guest option and we can get you up here on the show. I'm CmdrAleon, the host of the show here. We're on nightly, and we're on here on a Thursday evening here on Encounters. Our guest is Nova Oak, Terry, and she's having, as you're hearing her story, she actually is having encounters with fairies. Now, you say they're invisible. And also, we're going to also bring into our discussion JB. JB, welcome to Encounters. Good evening.
Hello, how are you guys?
We're
Hi,
doing good.
JB.
And, hey, JB. And JB, where are you located?
In Texas. My English is a little bad, so that'll be the reason I'm shy to.
No, we're glad to have you with us. I know you were on last night sharing some stuff in the comment area. And can you tell us a little bit about your background and what's been happening with you?
So I'm from Moldova, which is close to Ukraine. When I
Okay.
was 6 years old, I was in my room, maybe 2, 3 in the morning, sleeping. So we used to live like condos. So our condo was the last floor, and some bright light. At first, I thought maybe it's a helicopter, but then I'm like, helicopter will how you say, the thing that spins will break my windows. So it wasn't that. So I'm
Right.
sitting on bed under the blankets, freaking out, and it was actually the same thing like you see in a movie, like a plate, like a circle plate. So that
Yes.
lights from the spaceship was hitting through my window in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, whatever it is, I have to play cool. I was making thoughts what to say if something comes out of there. And this gray jello, like alien, came
And
in
you
my
say
bedroom.
a jello-like extraterrestrial, you mean?
Yeah, it was like human, but not human. Like the body was like a grayish jello.
Grayish jello, okay.
He came in my bedroom through the glass window. My windows were closed.
He came
And
through your closed windows,
yes,
the
yes,
space being, this jelly-like being,
yeah.
came through your window, she's saying, and just came right through the window, and it
So
was closed.
while I was in bed, I was making thoughts. Okay, I'm gonna say let's be friends, just to make it like not to. I don't know. I was little, so I was scared.
Yes.
So I get out of the bed and planned to ask that question. I didn't even have to. He telepathically he read my mind.
Was
was
he
reading your mind.
glittering like he was underwater?
No,
Like a light underwater. You know how that glitters?
no. It was just like
Kind of shimmers.
physically was there.
He was just there. Now,
Yeah.
was he telepathically communicating with you, JB?
For some reason, I wanted to look up to see the face of the creature. It freezed me. I couldn't speak. I couldn't do nothing because I walked towards him to plan to ask, want to be friends, just like stupid kids. And I didn't open my mouth, and it read my thoughts.
Wait a minute.
I didn't have the time to ask the question.
How old were you when this happened?
6 years old. I won't forget that.
Okay, 6 years old. And what year was that when you were 6 years old? Can you tell us?
I think it was 1997.
1997. You were 6 years old, and this being that you've never seen before. Window was closed and comes
It
through the
was
window,
night.
no problem.
It was summer night, like some night.
It was what now?
It was summertime.
Summertime. Okay. So it comes through your window, and you're saying that at 6 years old, you're saying, "Can we be friends?" To the space being,
Something to
and
make myself safe. Like I was all alone in the bedroom. our country is like poor. I wasn't, because the next day I told my brother, a little scared, and she's like, maybe it was a dream. So because she told me that, I never shared with nobody till this year when I moved to US and I experienced other things. This in December I sold my house and it was some difficulties to rent, so I had to wait 2 months to get a hotel. And while I was sitting at the hotel, I was hearing these weird noises, like not the people that adults, whatever we do there. Actually, they were human trafficking, drug dealers. It was dangerous, but I made it.
Yeah.
But
So
at
let me ask you a
night,
question.
go ahead. Sorry.
So, and we'll get back to what that is. You're watching Encounters. We have JB on, Terry's
You
on as
guys.
well. We have also Mary, and I'm your host, CmdrAleon. So let me ask you a question. Hey, John Connor, it's good to see you. This being, when you were 6 years old, that came through the window that was closed. Years later, now as in your adult life, when you were 6 years old, were you living in the Ukraine when this happened, or were you in the United
In
States?
Moldova.
So
Yeah, it's
you were in
close to Moldova.
Moldova,
Yeah.
you're in Moldova and Ukraine. That's
Moldova,
where you had to. That's what.
there's two Moldova. Moldova of Ukraine. Moldova used to
Yes.
be part of Russia, URSS, and
Okay,
then become
Moldova.
part of
Okay.
Romania, and now it's independent.
Okay. So you were over in Moldova, where this happened, in this building, in your room you were in. This being came through the window in Moldova, and you were 6 years old.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure people understand it. So now you're in the United States. When does this other thing you're just talking about? Can you go over that
This
again?
year in
When did that
January.
happen?
This year in January,
January.
because I had to December and till February 6, I was living at the hotel. Me and my two
Okay.
German shepherds, and my daughter had her own bedroom room
Okay.
with the dogs.
So you have
But
two German shepherds and your daughter, correct?
yeah, so she's with the dogs protected there. I'm by myself in my room, and I like to listen to my music just to cover up other people's business, and
Right.
not loud, but so I was looking at the window. I'm facing I think it's forward U.S. Air Force. I think it's
U.S. Air Force, an Air Force base.
yeah.
So are you near an Air Force base?
Yes.
You are. Okay.
Not to interrupt, but Commander, I have to get off because somebody is really trying to get a hold of me. So
You better go. I'm
there's
gonna let you
something
go.
happened with them. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll see you later. Take care.
All right.
Be
Thanks,
well.
guys.
Bye bye.
Okay. So tell us. So interestingly enough, you're near an Air Force base where you are. And
Yeah,
what's going on now? Something's going on here. Continue.
I was sitting at the window just with my music low and just look at the sky. It was beautiful outside. Well, I was just passing a bad relationship, so my thoughts were all over. But for some reason, I wasn't praying, but for some reason, my hands were like making a shape, like a triangle. You know, you see these
Yeah.
rappers, but I don't know the meaning of it till then. Didn't know nothing, and I'm like, what the heck am I doing? 'Cause I was like, I felt manipulated for some reason. Anyway, so I made the shape of fan triangle for like 2-3 seconds. I'm like, why even do that? I mean, I'm not even praying or nothing. So
Yeah.
I ignored it, but less than an hour, I started to hear things, see things, like everything got so reckless, like demonic voices through the walls. I'm not about
Yeah. So we don't get into the paranormal stuff,
yeah, it
but
was not the
I'll stay from that.
sex sounds or was like some heavy voices, like you see in the movies, dark.
Yeah, so we do definitely want to stay. If it's going paranormal, we want to stay away from it. If it's ET related, then we can stay with it. But if it's paranormal, we just don't want to get into that. You
And
know?
also, I don't do drugs or I don't know if I can say
Yeah.
that, or I'm not having mental issues or anything.
Okay.
So it
So
was real. Like it happened. Like for the rest of the time I was sitting there, I couldn't wait to leave.
mhm.
My daughter, I told her, "Do you hear anything?" No, because I keep my TV on all night. Because she, the same thing. she's very shy. She doesn't want to hear nothing from other people. Because, like I say, it was bad energy at the hotel because the room on other side, one side was my daughter, but on the other side was this one girl. Maybe she was a prostitute, but she was getting abused. And I actually went to the lobby and told the guys that work there, hey, I hear some bad, like, non-stop 10 hours. Oh, don't worry about it, she's a prostitute. I'm like, since when in US it's okay to do prostitution? But then again, she was getting abused, so
Right.
I felt
So
embarrassed to tell them because
yeah, so we
they
want to
didn't do
kind
nothing
of
about it.
yeah, so we want to try to stay away from all the paranormal stuff. I understand that, but
I think
can
the
we?
demonic things was because the hotel was having bad vibes. Like it was very intense. Like every night you'll hear like 100 people in and out, like
Mhm.
drug dealers. Yeah,
Right, but we want to stay. We want to really stay away from that because the show is really focused
yeah.
on knowledge about the extraterrestrial people's visitations by space people or extraterrestrials. So, just as a rule of thumb, I've always stayed away from all that stuff. I understand it's going on, but it really is so unrelated to where we're going here on the show. That's why.
So one night I tried at the hotel. I put my music, but then I say I don't want the music. I just want to go to bed. So I put my
Hmm.
AirPods on silence. I don't know how you call it. To turn it off to not hear nothing.
Right.
So I put it on and turn the silence off, or how you say it, if you don't mind.
Turn your iPod. You wanted to turn your iPod off or on?
When you put your sound, that's how you say. I can look.
Yeah, I think noise cancellation. Maybe is what she's trying to say.
So I put that on, and they were off, right? Then
Yeah.
the sounds around got louder with that thing on, like
Okay.
with the thing turned off to be cancellation off.
Right.
And
Noise cancellation. Yes.
I started crying. I felt like some other power, like demonic, it actually threw me on the ground. I was
Right.
like
So
going
we want to
insane.
kind of. So here's what I got to deal with. So because we don't get into that word, we don't get into that kind of thing. Not that
Sorry.
it's not a serious situation,
Oh,
but because we don't get into that, I mean, I understand and I hear it, but if you watch the show long enough, we are strictly, I understand it, and we are strictly into cosmic and galactic, cosmic
I only
spiritual
brought it up
galactic
because
stuff.
it was physically real, like it happened. So
Yeah. So is it happening anymore? Is it stopped?
I rent this place after I left the hotel. I rent a house, and when I
You rent
moved
a
here,
house.
first night I was getting ready for bed. I turned the lights off, and around my bed was like 3 little lights glowing, the size of an
Glowing.
egg. Yeah, the size of an egg. So I'm like, okay, like I moved from the hotel now. So I just got scared and went under the blankets and fell asleep.
So you had these lights that were like the size of an egg that were glowing.
Yeah, around my bed.
Oh wait, yeah. Now you're out of the hotel, as I can understand your
Yeah,
English. You now have a house you're renting.
yeah.
Okay, you're in a house now. So uh, when you're in the house, are things different than they were when you were living in the hotel? When
Was
do you is things different? Meaning, are your experiences now different in
I actually did see something. One night, somebody tried to break into one of my cars. It's parked outside, and I checked the camera. And then I'm like, let me watch the camera live. And like a little cloud, it just lifted up from near my car into the air. I was like, what was that? It's like Casper, like a little white cloud, something just lifted up.
Okay, so let me say something. I think that you need a little bit of an assistance and help on a galactic level, from what I'm hearing. So I want to do something for you if you'll let me, and I think it's going to clear up the energies that are affecting you because you've got a lot of things
But
go on
I
there.
actually if you're not scared, is not really good. With alien side, I'm not worried. I mean, if I have to come across again, I'm sure that I'm not scared.
Mhm.
I'm
So
not gonna
these,
avoid that. I want to be open window. Like
but
I
you don't
don't
want to
want to
just be an open
encounter.
window, because
I
the
want to
danger of
encounter.
being an open window is, and I'm glad you're not scared, but being an open window allows for anything and anything to come into your realm, and that's not a good thing. You know,
I
you
forgot to
want,
mention that since that incident when I was 6 years old, I had visions, dreams, and then it happened. So I was 18. In 2000, when 9/11 happened, I had a dream. I was back in my country. So I had a dream with people, a lot of people from all nations holding hands, and US flags were like floating on the water. So I'm like, some neighbor starts screaming in real life, end of the world, because she had the radio on and he heard the news about US, and she's like, oh my God, end of the world. And I get out of my dream. I go ask the neighbor what happened. He told me, and I'm like, wow, my dream, because I had no connection with US back then, but I dream people holding hands and the US flags. So my country was 2 in the morning, and in US was 9 in the morning. I was dreaming while it was happening.
so at this juncture in your life, where do you see yourself in connection with contact with, in your house that you're renting, all these other things, putting that part of your history aside, where do you see yourself on a level of contact with space people or extraterrestrial
I
intelligence?
actually daily thinking and wishing, like I make thoughts in my mind, like I do, because whatever happened to me when I was 6 years old, I wanted that to happen again.
Right. So here's something that's really important that I teach, and because I have a background in what I'm talking about here, I would say the thing you need to do is say that you are now a Christed being of light. The reason why you need to say it based on me listening to you,
Thank
you
you.
just don't want to be you just don't want to be an open book to anything and anything that's out there beyond you. You need to be somewhat disciplined in what you're doing, because if you're not, anything and everything could
Yeah, I'm
say,
aware of
okay,
that.
yeah, but the awareness is good, but I want to do something with you here to help you. All right. Do I have your permission to help you out?
Maybe next time. Sorry.
Why not now?
What's about? Sorry.
So it's going to be very simple. There's nothing that you really need to do except let me help you.
I don't need help. Like, help for what?
Help to allow you not to be affected and have interaction with things that are negative as an open book, because you are a very open person. But
Yes,
with
but
that,
I'm okay. Like, it's not like I'm controlling my things, but I do control my. I'm not, like I say, I'm not afraid of aliens, and I would not want to stop that. Like,
but I'm not talking about the extraterrestrials. There's other things that have actually interacted with you that are not positive. That's why I want to help you.
can I share a opinion about? I mean, my thoughts on U.S. government. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the idea that they do kidnap the aliens, basically, dissect, experiments. Meanwhile, like Putin, he wanted to share, like he wants to get in with aliens and everything to just to share the how you say technology, or in this how you say in English, I'm just saying that US is a little bit on everything, just like all this. I don't want to deviate from your content, but
Really,
I
I don't.
don't think
We don't want
US.
to really change the subject. We want to the thing I have to stay as host for being on
The
radio on
only thing
this.
I'm saying this is that's why the aliens will come here and hunt some people, in, like the thing that happened in Miami. I mean, we go fuck with this space, and of course they're gonna come here.
Right, but there
Sorry.
aren't anything, I may be on JB, there are no things called aliens. They don't exist. There are extraterrestrials, but there are no aliens. That's an Earth-based media word that's been used in documentaries and also, frankly, on a lot of TV shows that deal
Well,
with the
I think
subject.
we are made by aliens.
No, we're not made by aliens. We're created by God, and
Yes, but
space people
that
are
God
created.
is beyond the aliens. But aliens, we are just an experiment drop here on a Earth with a
Not really.
Bible.
Where are you getting that from?
I just feel that way. That's my.
No, I understand your feelings. I respect that, but we are not created by other space people.
I'm religious. I do believe in Jesus. I believe in God. But the fact is that aliens have something to do with us. Just like we thinking, okay, we are distinct from monkeys, or you know,
But there
we are
are
just an
no
experiment.
aliens. I think there's a language barrier. The whole thing with aliens is that they don't exist. There are space people and space beings, but there are no aliens anywhere. There are space people that exist as we exist in other different places, other
So
dimensions, other galaxies, solar
wait,
systems.
they're not aliens. If they
There are
beings,
no aliens. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
okay, beings,
Forget the
what they
word
are.
aliens. They don't exist.
So the beings,
Yeah,
the
beings,
beings.
space beings. Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
they have
now you
something
got
to
it.
do with us. Definitely. Look at the pyramids. Look at the
Oh, we're all connected.
we connected big time, but
Yeah.
US is the main. I feel like the world was created around US. We discover America, blah blah blah. But I think US was before everything. Like after, like US, and look at the money. What? Why will you say?
The countries
Why you
actually
believe
don't even matter.
God on a paper that it's money? We don't pray to God. Like it just doesn't make sense. The dollar bill has in God we trust. I'm just saying that the greed and everything, it starts with America and all the
No,
bad negative stuff.
the planet Earth and the countries that are on the planet that are created have nothing to do with the fact that we are a planet that had ancient history of Lemuria, Atlantis, the land of Mu. There were ancient advanced civilizations before the pyramids even existed. There's a whole galactic history about the billions of years of Earth that
Definitely.
that exist. I mean, it has nothing to do with countries. It has to do with the fact that right now there are
We
people
have
all
the
over the
president
world.
possessed. Like he this president right now, I'm not even gonna say his name. If you see his action the last 4 years, that's not what the real American president had done to this
But the
country.
thing is, we don't want to get into the president. We don't talk about presidents or leaders of nations here. We don't do that. It's a UFO show. We don't care about that stuff. It has no relationship to the
But they
content of
have
what I
power
do.
on people, just like they can
They have no
manipulate.
power. They have no power on anybody. And I don't want to get into the political stuff because it has nothing to do, JB, with my program. I'm trying to let you know what the program's
Sorry.
about. And I know this is kind of a language barrier, and I'm sorry there is, but I don't get into that stuff. I don't get into any of that whatsoever. I don't even want to talk about it. I really don't. I just don't want to.
What do you believe in? As like
I want to talk about what my show's about, which is the space beings, the galactic levels. I don't want to talk about people running countries, politicians. I don't get into that. There are other places for that. I really don't get into that here. I'm sorry to say that.
oh, it's
I want
okay.
to go on to my next guest here, but I want to thank you for being on my show.
Night.
All right. Have a good night. All right. Let's move on here. I want to thank JB for, I mean, you can't get person to be ready for, and also it's a little bit of a language barrier, so I do understand that. I don't think there was anything here that we could have done to kind of make that communications happen. Thank you, JB. Ali says, let's see, let me see what else here. We're going to try to get back a little bit on track here. Derek 010. Derek, can you tell me, before I bring you on, what you wish to talk about? This is Encounters, and just let people know the protocol of the show is that I want to stay focused on everything we usually do on the show, which is about extraterrestrial intelligence, visitations by space people, the fairies, mer people, Bigfoot, all those things. That's what we do. If you've had UFO sightings you're documenting, we'd like to hear about that as well. Let's see the phenomena. Okay, so we're gonna take a chance with Derek, and Derek will bring you on here. Let's see where this goes.
Hey,
Hey, good evening, Derek. Welcome to Encounters, the #1 spiritual UFO talk show. I'm your host, CmdrAleon. Welcome.
hey, you don't remember me, do you? Nah.
Not with the alien face, but go ahead.
Yeah, no. Last time I was on here, we were talking about the phenomenon. Weird, strange bruises on people when they wake up, loss of time,
Yeah, I
abductions.
kind of vaguely remember that by your voice. But how you doing?
No, I'm good. Yeah, I was thinking about the phenomenon. You know, if you're one of those people that wake up with bruises on your body in the morning, you have strange circular bruises up and down your spine, all the way, to the top of the skull, all the way down to the tailbone, maybe down your legs or arms. That's what they call the phenomenon. They can't
Right.
explain it, but yeah.
So what's been happening since the last time we spoke to you? Have you had any things happen with sightings or encounters? What's going on?
Well, the phenomenon. So I do know this. It's not a few people. They do it all over the world, but it's more of the human genome, the human DNA is so flexible. Now, they do abduct other species, like, dogs, cows, and stuff like that. But they love the humans because of the genome that we carry that's so flexible. The race that takes part in this, now, this race is old. When I say old, I mean old. They don't have no name for the race. They don't consider that a thing anymore. That's how old they are. When you talk about the technology that they have, it surpasses any technology you can think of. When you're talking about multidimensional beings that are in our dimension, but not just in our dimension, but in another dimension themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The race inhabits black holes. They have mastered the art of building structures, Dyson spheres, around black holes.
Mm-hmm.
If anything were to ever consider to attack them, they wouldn't even have to stress about it because the possibility of attacking them is next to impossible. Again, they build structures around black holes, so there's no way to actually see them. They can travel from point A to point B in a split of a second. That's how
Right,
fast they can
but you
travel.
also know, Derek, that the whole thing with the abductions has stopped. I mean, less than 30 years ago, up until maybe the early 2000s at most, there was still some of that going on. But I can tell you, all those beings that were doing the abductions, they're being rounded up by the Ashtar Command, which I work with, and they're being taken off planet, and they're not going to be able to come back and do anything.
Well, I have to strongly disagree with you because this
You
race,
can,
they're not into hurting. They just want the DNA. They don't want the beings.
They're actually, I will strongly not argue with you, but I will strongly disagree with you because I do know this, that they are being taken off planet. I have direct contact with our space beings. I don't channel anything. I'm telling you, I have direct contact off planet with the human space beings that are doing the taking off of these beings that have been doing the abductions. I'm telling you, they are being taken off. You can disagree with it. If factually they are being taken off planet, I can tell you this for a fact. They've been removed. They're being taken off planet. This might be something that you don't know. It doesn't mean that, what you're saying hasn't happened. That's in a past timeline that did happen, but I am giving you information that these types of beings that were doing this, they are not allowed to do it anymore. They've been taken off and they are being rounded up all over the earth. I'm giving you direct information that you can disagree with, but it's real information that I have.
But see, what I've been told, what I've been taught, is that the human race is such a very destructive being that the human race should have never actually been created. It was created through scientific
No, that's not
exploration.
true. The human race was created by God, just like every other being was
Oh,
created by
yeah, the
God.
human race was created. I agree with you on that.
By God.
But when it comes to the destructiveness, we have managed to not only destroy ourselves one time, but multiple times when it comes to the great resets. And the race that I'm talking about, they have to reset the human race just to keep the human race from destroying itself. Again, the DNA is so
Let me ask you a
useful.
question. Let me ask you a question. What race is resetting the human race's DNA? Can you tell me who they are?
They don't have a name as far as there's no reason. They're so advanced. They're in both a pan-dimensional state. They don't have to be in this dimension or the other dimension.
Well, let me ask you another question. Have you been ever in contact physically in your room with one of these particular beings?
Everybody a part of the program has been in
I'm asking
contact
you,
with.
not everybody. Have you yourself been physically contacted in your room by one of these beings? Have you? Yes or no?
I've been taken from my room.
You've been taken. And what do they look like, the ones that have taken you?
Think of it as
Well, tell me what they look like.
think of it as, okay, we live in a solid state of matter. When we're talking about a pan-dimensional state, we're talking about a dimensional. It's like being in a room with nothing but white, and the only outline you can see is the being standing in front of you, but you can't even see your form. You get what I'm saying?
Well, you already have a form, but that other being could be translucent.
No, 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 no. You are in a fourth dimensional space mentally, not physically, mentally.
So let me
Maybe
ask you a question. I'm still going to be very laser focused on you. The beings that took you, what year did they take you, and what did they look like?
they've taken me repeatedly. Everybody a part of the program.
Now, I don't want to talk about everybody. I'm talking about only you. I don't care about everybody else. You, the individual you, when they took you, what did they do to you, and what year did it start happening when they took you? I want to know when the year was that they took you. Can you tell me?
Repeatedly. It
When
hasn't
was the year?
stopped.
Was it when you were a baby? When your parents had you as a baby? When did they start taking you?
When I first saw the ship, and
What
then I
year was
entered
that?
into the program. Oh, I was about seven, 1986?
1986. You were
1986.
7 years old in 1986. You
Let
saw
me
a
see.
ship, and they
Three,
took you, and they took you on the ship.
hold on, I'm trying to. Seven. Yeah, it's about 1986, 1987, give or
And you were
take.
7, and you're at that point you're 7 years old, correct?
Yeah, give or take.
Okay, and they take you on the ship. What did the ship look like?
Again, on the fourth dimensional, three-dimensional, fourth dimensional plane, when you're talking about pan-dimensional beings, the ship's a solid metallic structure. Almost looks like a mirror. And when it talks, the level there's no actual engine like room that you don't go to an engine room. The state of being, it's being in another dimension. Now,
So when you let me slow you down there. So you're taken on the ship at 7 years old. When you go on this metallic ship, what you're saying is at 7 years old, it's like being in another dimension.
it's like being, but not being. You following me? Okay, from my
No,
point of
I'm
view,
following you. That's why I'm asking you questions.
from my point of view, from my point of view, this is what they're showing me. Now, obviously, I'm hooked up to a table because I wake up with bruises all up and down my spine, and I'm not the only one that has this problem.
But I want to talk about you, not everybody else. So you're on a table, and you're at 7 years old. They took you on the ship, and everyone watching the show, this is Encounters, the late night spiritual UFO talk show. I'm your host, CmdrAleon. So they take you on the ship. You're 7 years old. They put you on a table. You wake up. I assume you're waking up in your home as a kid, and you have all these bruises on you, correct?
Yes,
Okay. So
but
you're a
not
little
just
kid.
not just bruises. These are cylindrical, sometimes triangle, sometimes square.
Yeah, one of my viewers is saying, Lacey is saying, how tall were these beings that did what they did to you at 7 years old?
It's not height. From my point of view, when I enter into the ship, I'm placed in another dimensional state, like a dream, but another dimensional state. I'm
Right,
conscious and I'm fully aware that I'm in this big giant white room surrounded by things that I cannot see physically.
right. So they had you sort of like paralyzed in a way. You couldn't move, right?
No, no, no. In this state, you can move, but there's nothing. It's just a white room. You walk, you interact. They tell you things. They discuss things to you.
But they also abused you in the sense by when you said you got back into your home, you said there were bruises on your body,
Yeah, from
correct?
experiments.
Well, yeah, that's obviously negative. That if they're doing experiments on you, they are not positive beings at all. They're actually negative beings. And and you're saying now at this adult age, you're still having contact with these beings, correct? Am I
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay. So why haven't you tried to stop that from happening?
The level. Well,
I'm asking a
that's what I
question.
was telling you.
So my question is, why didn't you stop it? You had it at
The
7 years
level of
old.
technology that they've.
I don't care about the technology. I care about what they did to you physically. Why did you not stop them from doing this? Or did you not have any power enough to say, no, I don't agree with what you're doing to me. Stop doing it. Why didn't you ask them to stop? Why didn't you just stop it? Or could you not stop it? Or didn't you know how to stop it? To me, that's an abduction, but an abuse of a 7 year old. You're a 7 year old kid. They take you on a ship and they do what they do to you. That's not something that can be said as, oh, that's a beautiful thing. Do it to me again. Why did you not have the ability to say, I don't like what you're doing to me, stop? Why couldn't you stop them? I think that's a valid question. I want you to answer it about yourself, not about everybody else, about you. Why couldn't you stop
Well,
them?
what was explained to me was that, the human race is a very useful race.
No, forget it. I don't want to talk about the
Very
human race.
fluid.
That's a diversion from my question. I'm asking you, why now at this adult age, if they're still communicating with you, have you not stopped communicating with them based on what they physically did with you at the age of 7? That's my concern. That's
That
my
is an
concern. Don't
excellent
go over all
question.
over the place. I'm not going to let you do that. I want to focus on you because I care about you as a person. Why have you allowed this to continue? Why? I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to know why. I'm tuned into you, really laser focused on you. Oh, he left. Now I was trying to help him, but you can help somebody because I knew I'm reading his energy. He definitely needs some. Yeah, he disappeared. Yeah, it was getting too real. What happened is it was getting so real that I was so focused on him. He couldn't bring me into another uh, area. Like he wanted to talk about their technology, what they were doing, but it was always about them, and we can never talk about him. Yeah, absolutely. I've been on this journey a long time. And when I see people need help, he definitely needs help, but you can't force it. You can't say, "Oh, I want to really force myself to help you." It's not going to ever work with anybody. I love everybody, but when you start going down that road and you're a 7-year-old kid that has been abused by a space group of beings that have you on a table, and then he says he wakes up and he has all these bruises on him, there's not, the thing is he was trying to avoid talking about what happened to him, and he was going all over the place about these beings and everything, but you can't help somebody that does not want your help. Yeah. Well, obviously he's not here anymore, so he'll probably remember what I said, but hey, what can you do? Thank you, Edward. And if I sounded a little bit more stern, because that sometimes you have to be stern where I come from being off planet, when you're doing this kind of important work on the earth to help people, there's no time for like illusionary things where they don't want to talk. They don't want to get to the feelings that they feel. It's always about somebody else. They don't want to talk about, where he was going was everything was about everybody else in terms of these other beings. You could never get to have him talk about what happened to him, except when he said he was 7 years old and that they took him on this metallic spaceship and that they basically abused him, and he still allowed that to occur at an adult age. Thank you, Edward. I want to help people, so part of my mission is to bust the matrix, but also I've done this since last year. I do care about people, so I do want to help people, but I also know when you can't help somebody, where they are so, the word brainwashed or however they are, these beings did to him, they basically controlled him, and yeah, you can't save the world, Charlotte, you're right. They basically controlled him to the point where in his adult life, he's so memorized by them, he doesn't know, influence is a good word, Micro. That's a good word. He was so influenced by them, even with the abuse at 7, that he doesn't know how to get out of it. There is a way out of it, but you can't get out of it unless you know how to get out of it. Tonight's been a really interesting night. It's been way different than I normally see things happen here. Man, I'm telling you, we've had some interesting guests tonight. It's been totally different. I'll tell you. I guess the commander has to be prepared for all kinds of guests here. But thank God I'm able to bring things back, and I'm very disciplined and focused as a talk show. Thank you, Kevin. It is a full moon. I have to remember the moon is beautiful, and it is a full moon tonight. I absolutely understand that for sure. Yeah. Yep. So here's how the show works let's say if we can get back into encounters in a way that will help people. Yeah, the moon has a lot to do with everything, Anderson. You're correct. So this show, if you're over 18 and no foul language, no drinking or whatever, no paranormal discussion, no paranormal, and you're over 18 and you've had any encounters with space beings, visitations, mer people, fairies, Bigfoot, we certainly want to hear your stories. And I know this show brings in a lot of different energies here. And I've been on radio for a long time, so I'm used to interviewing all kinds of people. Yeah, he's still having contact. Yeah, he might have felt blamed, but I was trying to see if we can get him to, I almost had him. He was silent for a moment. And I think he was silent because he didn't know what to do, He didn't know what to do. And I think I could have helped him. I was at that verge of like, okay, let me help you. And I would have helped him in a nanosecond. He started crying. He might have, you know, and I was really trying to keep him focused because he was going all over the place. But if he does come back, I will definitely be willing to help him. And I will, because I love everybody. He might have felt attacked too, yeah. 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 Alba says, I think he was brainwashed. And the beings he was connecting with probably did, in a sense, control him since he was 7 years old, you know? Yeah. On our show, people get to share their experiences and are never put down. The one beautiful thing about the show here is we'll never put anybody down, but we'll try to help them. That's the difference. Being put down is one thing. Being helped and questioned to help you is a different thing altogether. One needs to know the differences. Absolutely. Sophia, I asked and I'm still waiting. Hey, Sophia. When person is abused, they cannot answer why didn't they stop it. That's true. They might not be able to know, but then when they're on with somebody that can help them, which is like what we're trying to do, maybe they're not ready for it. And right, River Blue's right. We're only trying to stay on topic. And I still will try to help anybody out there when we can. But he might reflect on everything I've said and asked him, and it might be that he comes back someday and say, Commander, you really did help me. Or he might still stay in contact with these beings, whoever they are. Who knows? Sophia wants to come up, I believe. Let's see, Sophia. Let's see here. I asked, and I'm still waiting. Oh, Sophia has 23,000 followers. Sophia King Sweet, we're going to bring you up. I just want people to know, I know this is kind of a crazy night here, but again, as host of the show, we will try to love and help everybody. We don't have to do that, but I'm laser focused on what I hear. I listen to every single word my guests tell me, and I will, break in if I have a question or a comment. That's part of what I do here. So, yeah. All right, we're going to bring Sofa King Sweet on here, and let's see what happens. This is Encounters, the late night spiritual #1 UFO talk show. Sofa, good evening. Welcome to the show.
How's it going, Commander?
We're doing good. How about you?
Not bad, not bad.
All kinds of stuff happening tonight on a full moon.
It's
So tell us, what would you like to get into tonight?
well, I would like to talk to you about the experience I had on Hollywood Boulevard 2 years ago.
Okay, and for people that don't know where this is, because we have listeners, people watching all over the world, what state is it in, and where is Hollywood Boulevard?
It's in California.
Okay, in Hollywood, right?
Yep, on the main strip there.
Okay, and what year was that this experience happened for you?
2022.
2022. Okay, so we have a time frame. So what exactly happened? When did it happen? Was it during the day, during the night? What?
It was during the night, right around 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning, because I spent back-to-back nights on Hollywood Boulevard because I know there's a spiritual connection with a lot of different interdimensional beings there. But I'm not from there, but I
Right.
had the opportunity to go. Well, anyway, I was standing, leaning my foot against the wall, and like a 7-foot tall, blonde hair, blue eyed man in a brand new plaid suit was walking like a zombie, and he looked up at me through telepathy, asked me if I could hear him, and as shocked as I was, I looked up at him and said, "Yeah," through telepathy. And then he said to me through telepathy, watch this. And then he started walking normal to the wall I was leaning against the building. And he walked into it, disappeared 15 feet away from me. And he poked his head out through telepathy, said, can you see me? And through telepathy, I said, I just shook my head up and down, yeah.
Right. You said yes,
And
right?
and he put his head back in, and then he come walking out like a zombie again to where he came from. And
Now,
then
when you say zombie, when you say
well,
zombie,
he was walking literally like from what I'm gathering, I think it's a decoy or something to keep people away from them. I'm still trying to figure this out. I have been getting some messages. I'm not gonna say what I've gotten, but
right.
many out there on TikTok know what I got. But
So let me ask you a question. So you're using the word zombie. You say he was tall. He had blonde hair. Now, I mean, the
blue
word
eyes.
zombie, like,
Yep.
it has a different connotation than the word of a tall being. Did he look
No,
human?
he had the human features of a human, but he was
Right.
very tall, and he was
So he
blonde
wasn't a
hair.
zombie. He wasn't a zombie, right?
No, he
You know
was
what a
not a
zombie is.
zombie, but he
Okay.
walked like one for
Oh,
a
he
minute.
walked like one. Okay, so he wasn't a zombie. Just to let people know,
No,
you
he
weren't
was not a
communicating with a
zombie, but
zombie.
he
Okay.
walked like he was like he didn't if nobody would talk to anybody walking like that.
Right.
And it seemed like that's why they do it, is so nobody talks to them.
So do you think this, did he say where, like if you had to communicate, let's say,
That's why I want to go back so bad and find him, because something's
well, let me
telling
ask
me
you a
I have.
question. Do you have any idea, did he say like obviously I'm getting the feeling, that space people walk amongst us on planet Earth, right?
Well, yeah. So does the underworld.
But I'm saying space people in specifics, to be more specific. So let's
Well,
focus
that's what
on
I
this
keep
whole,
going back to when everybody's like, well, or when I think to myself, did I imagine this? I go back to the time I was touched, and then I go to that
right.
time.
So you're saying you'd like to have contact with this tall, which I believe to be a space
Palladium.
being that can go through a galactic portal and come in and out of dimensional time frames.
There's
That's
definitely
what I'm getting.
Yes,
What?
there's definitely dimensional portals there, no doubt about it. I had an
Right.
experience with that too. So
So would you like to? How did you feel about the? Let me ask you a few questions. When you had the experience in Hollywood Boulevard at that point, did you feel a sense like, oh wow, I'm not afraid of this tall person? Did you feel like
not one bit of fear.
no fear?
Not
Okay,
one.
so let me start with that. Would you like to reconnect with this person?
I've been trying to, but I've been having a lot of interference from the dark side.
Okay, so would you like to stop all that from happening?
Well, the one thing I could do is just smash my phone.
No. Would you like that to stop happening?
Well, that's for God to decide.
No. Would you like it to stop happening?
That's for God to decide.
I'm
When God
asking
decides
you a
it's done,
question.
then it's done.
If you
Until
watch my
then, I
show
can't.
you've
Yeah,
watched my
it's in
show
God's
before.
hands, not mine.
You've watched my show before. You've seen what I've done with the life forces that I work with. I'm not talking about God. I love God. Would you like it to stop happening?
What's that?
The negativity.
Well, I could be bringing it on myself. Could I
You
be
could be.
manifesting it?
Would you like to see that stop manifesting?
Well, who wouldn't?
Okay. Would you give me permission to do something to help you?
I don't know. It all depends what that is.
If you watch my show over the year and you've watched any of the things I've done for individual people here, I can do certain things because I don't come from Earth. I come from the Christed levels of light. I work with the Ashtar Command. So if you want me to help you, I can help you in a nanosecond right now. Right now.
No.
Unless you want to keep going through the same thing you're going through and you don't mind doing that, I'll leave it alone. But if you really truly want to live without any of that stuff happening, I can help you.
Well,
All you have to do is say yes.
when God decides that's best, then I'll let God decide.
That's an excuse. You're using God for an excuse. Do you want the negative things to still occur, or do you want to get rid of them?
After feeling multiple orgasms at once, that's not an excuse.
No, sir. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about having positive encounters with the space people and not having any interference whatsoever ever again in your life.
That's for God to choose.
And then I can't help you because you're not letting me help you at all, and that's fine. That's fine. All right. I was offering. Oh, see, this is a really interesting night. Is it the moon or is it me? We having. It's been an amazing night here. Yep. You see, one thing people have to understand is that the commander loves everybody. It might be the moon. All I know is I do what I always normally do here, and we're just, it's been a crazy night. I don't know what tomorrow night's going to be like, but tonight is a full moon. Hey, Papa J, I'm the commander. When I say I'm the commander, let me explain something to people out there on planet Earth. I am in command of my own spiritual being. I'm in command of myself. I'm the commander of my own spiritual light. I work with the Ashtar Command, which if you don't know who they are, let me explain that for a little bit for people that have no idea what I'm talking about. The Ashtar Command oversees the very highest levels of cosmic light throughout the multiverse. They are men and women and families from other planetary systems, and they've been here to Earth for billions of years from time to time. So I work with them off planet. I don't channel. I don't have crystal balls. I don't have a pendulum. I don't flip cards in the air. But if you watch my show long enough, you'll know that everything I talk about, disclosure, the subject of UFOs or spaceships, fairies, mer people, Bigfoot, all these things I talk about, I have information on, I know what I'm talking about. All right. And I can help people. I do. Your father worked at Area 51 for 2 years. Papa J has only 3 followers. Oh man, that's a bummer. Papa J, we're going to follow you. I'd love to get you up to 200 so you can talk about your father working at Area 51 for 2 years. That's a long time. That is a long time. So, we're interviewing people tonight. I have no idea what's going to happen next. This has been the craziest night ever since I've been on TikTok. It's got to be the full moon. Yeah, Jessica, that's absolutely true. Jessica, I think it's ministries. So what I was trying to get this person to do is, I love God just as much as anybody else, but he's using God as an excuse when I was trying to say that I can help him. You see, he's waiting for God to do something. God's beautiful. God created all the multiverse, all the different planetary systems. God is everything, all over the universe, not just on Earth. But he was using it just like the other person, an excuse not to let me help him, and I could have. But you can't force people to be helped if they don't want to be. Why stop? God could have led him to your show. I think Abler, that's right. I think probably. But even though he was probably led here, and I brought him up for a reason because I kind of felt like he really did need some help. But you can't help somebody if they're not ready, and I completely realize that in the journeys that I've been on all these years. But when they're ready, they'll come back, or maybe they won't. As they say, it's a free will universe. Maybe, but you know what? When they come on here, they know what they're getting into. When the guests come on here, they've made a decision on some level to come on here. So at that point, there you go. Let's see here. You have to have a crazy night sometimes. Well, this is the night on a full moon. I've encountered space people twice. Marlene, we're going to follow. Oh, Marlene, I'm going to bring you up here, Marlene. It says I can do that. That's kind of weird. Marlene, accept my request, and I'm interested in what you're saying. I've encountered space people twice, or spaceships twice, not space people. Now, I have somebody in the request button here. I am time. So before I bring I am time on, because I have no idea what's going to happen next, and this is a crazy night. I am time. Can you tell me what you wish to talk about? Marlene says she's had encounters with spaceships twice. Let's see here. Let's see what my next guest is going to be here. Jessica, good to have you with us. AUBZ, so true. You can lead a horse to water, but can't make him drink. That's true. A lot of babies born on a full moon. That's true. It is a full moon. Deborah says, something very strange is happening tonight. That's not on the show. Very strange tonight. Interesting, Deborah. And Deborah, many blessings to you and your husband. Let's see here. I don't think they understand Ashtar Command space beings. Dina, you're probably right. Yeah, so we Jaws man, thank you. You know, there's nights when I do a show where I know people need help, but you can't ever force them, you know. That's one thing you can never do. Been amazing. Good to see you. But we're having a good show here because we have, you know, hey, look, some nights it's going to be like this, and I have to, you know, I'm very aware of it, and yeah, some nights it's going to be like this. Yeah, they have to be willing, folklore. You're right, absolutely. But you know, we try to do the best. Now, I am time wants to be a guest. I am time. Can you tell me in comments why you want to come up? I'm happy to interview you. Just want to get a little background as to what you want to talk about. That's all. And you're watching the #1 spiritual UFO talk show on social media. Tonight is a full moon, and we're having all kinds of stuff go on here tonight on Encounters. And you know what? I ran out of apple cider. That could be part of the reason we're having this kind of night. I'm drinking water. But tomorrow I will have a full gallon of apple cider back on the show. I will not drink a full bottle of apple cider, but I will drink a glass of apple cider tomorrow night. I guarantee it. Toy Stop, that's true. Only thing we're missing is contact, and that's coming soon on planet Earth. That's the beautiful thing. Contact, right? I should make some moon water. You know, I had my crystals out the other night on the porch. I put some crystals out to do some clearing of energy with the crystals, you know. Do you make apple cider yourself? You know, when I was in high school up in Maine, I actually did make apple cider. With a wood barrel, we had a thing. We turned the apples and crushed them, and we made apple cider. Good, interesting you say that. When I was in Maine, I did do it when I was in high school. So I'm trying to figure out what this person wants to talk about. Let's see. We have a team member here. Let me see. I'll bring the team member up. I know who that is. The team member. And you're on Encounters, hopefully, in a minute. Hello there, Starfire. How you doing?
Hi, Commander. How are you?
We're having a crazy night tonight. That's all I know.
Yes, yes. Since my name means moon, Cynthia, actually.
Yeah,
So interesting things always happen around the moon, and I do get
yeah.
vulnerable, but that's when learning happens. So I thought, what the heck? I feel so vulnerable, but I love your show, so I thought I'd come
Well,
up
thank you very
anyways.
much. We love you too. So welcome to the show. And now, what would you like to share with us on this galactic evening of evenings?
Thank you. Well, I think it's probably well, extraordinary to me, but just a few little experiences that happened to me that brought me comfort and awe. So just this little, like when I was, when I was like 10 and my dad passed away about a year before, I would like have the urge to look out the window and I would ask to see interdimensional beings or lights or something. And then I would see them. And
Wow.
it was like three triangles, three stars in a triangle, and they were moving in sort of like this beautiful little erratic dancey kind of way. And then I would open the blinds or open the curtains and then hide because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And then I was like asking it. It was very jovial. I was just asking like, oh, do you see me? I can see you, and just sort of hiding because I get really I just get really nervous. I'm that kind of a person where I working through traumas and stuff. And so then about a day ago, well, I'll stop talking now maybe. But
No, go ahead. I'm listening to you.
okay. Thank you everybody for listening. This is awesome. So
Great.
about a year ago my mom passed away, and then about a month ago I see like 5 beautiful green orbs outside in the sky, and again I'm like called to come out and see them. So I'm going to the window and start looking outside, and then I just felt so in awe and so happy and just so, I don't know. It just felt joyous, like where I wanted to be, like, I get very bored being on Earth, like so bored to where I don't sometimes even want to be here. And but I have like my mission is strong, with my children and democracy and peace and everything. But it's just that like I just get so bored at times. And anyways, I feel like I could talk for a long time. Anyways, my daughter and I, after that, I took a picture and I zoomed in and I saw that one of the orbs was morphing. It was like morphing, and it just had different colors. And it just looked like just this beautiful little celebratory thing in the sky. And
Wow.
that's it. And the only person that really believes me is my daughter. So we went to Build-A-Bear and we have a little they call it a bearlian. I hope that's not offensive, but it's just like a space being teddy bear. It brings us comfort.
Yeah.
And that's my story.
Well, you have a very beautiful energy about you, and thank God you're on here, because it's been a very weird night tonight on Encounters, and the orbs that you were seeing. When was that? And can you describe a little bit about these orbs that you were seeing?
Yeah. Well, not really. When did I see them?
Like, what did they look like to you? Obviously.
Okay, this sounds really, but like in the Wizard of Oz, like the little bubble that would come down with the fairy godmother, and it was like a big pink bubble, but they look like bubbles, like these beautiful orbs. They look like stars, actually, kind of.
Oh, interesting.
I almost confused them for the for Christmas lights, or then I started just really looking obsessively like at the phone, like, am I just taking a weird picture? What's going on? And then and then when I zoomed in, and I don't know if this was me projecting or not, but I saw like an eye inside of one of them.
Interesting. You saw an eye inside of one of the orbs. That's interesting.
Yes, I
I've
can
never heard
send
that
it
before.
to you. I can send you all the pictures.
Yeah, I'd like to see the picture.
Great. I will send them to you. And but those are my stories, and I just finally am like having the courage to be like, okay, you know what? Just that's enough. And then it's so funny because like right after that happened, we turned on, we saw Bayside Mall. So my 9-year-old and I were just obsessed, and we're just learning about it. But I want to do it in a respectful way. And my dad.
You're a good guest. Yes. You see? And you know what? Being a guest on my show is harmless because, the commander will always love and treat everybody with respect. And You have nothing to be, what I might show you have nothing to be afraid of.
You really do, and you really are. And I think sometimes it's just like I'm scared of, facing my own, but that scared is a word of the past now. So
Right. No more
thank you.
scariness. All good.
No more. Thank you so much.
And you definitely have a very bubbly. Let me just say something about you. You have a
Okay.
very bubbly energy, meaning you have a lot of light energy in you. Your energy is very beautiful. You have nothing to fear, and you definitely don't come from this world, this particular world. You understand what I'm saying now? I'm reading you very quickly. You come from off planet. Before you were born here, you're from another planetary system. Do you know that or no?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't
Yeah,
know
you
that.
are. Yeah, I'm sharing that with you while you're on here before you go. You are from somewhere else. You're not from here.
Wow. Is that why I'm
Yeah.
so flighty sometimes? They like,
Um, you drift into you're partly here on Earth. You're in your human form, but a part of you is when you say flighty because you're connecting beyond Earth to your star beingness. So you're between your star beingness and your physical human beingness. So you go back and forth.
oh, I see. I see.
Does that make sense to you? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, it
Okay.
really does. Now I'm just
Yeah.
going to take what you're saying and just go meditate on it and be honest about it, because it's
Yeah.
time to start just being open. Like, I don't want to be
Yes.
discriminatory. And honestly, like, and I really cherished my green orb experience. And
Yes.
and I felt like I was saying, if you're there, come closer. And it did feel like it was coming closer.
Hmm.
And I couldn't believe it. And I was like, am I going to do the same thing as when I was 9, like close the curtain and open it up again and play gate peekaboo, with an dimensional
Now,
being?
when you said to it, "Will you come closer?" It responded and came. The orb came closer. Correct.
Yeah, that's when it came closer and then started like morphing.
Morphing. Here's what I'd
Yeah.
like you to do.
Uh-huh.
I want you to reflect on that orb. So there is something here I'm getting
Uh-huh.
that you have a connection to a star family, and I'm not specifically sure yet, but as I'm reading your energy, when you do some meditation, remember what the orb looked like and ask the orb where it came from. It
Okay.
came from, so what I'm saying is, I'm not presuming where it came from, but I want you to have the joy of the experience by asking the orb, which is an intelligence, where it came from.
Where it came from. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. This helps a lot. I
Yeah.
know where to start and
That's a
okay.
beginning point. I won't go further than that. I want you to learn from the experience that you'll have with this orb energy, which I think is definitely from beyond Earth. It's extraterrestrial or just non-terrestrial. But I think you're going to get some information from this if you ask the question.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much. I'll
absolutely.
continue and let someone else talk, but it feels
Oh
like
well, thank you
family
for coming on.
service.
You switched the energies around. We were going from full moon craziness to I didn't know where the show was going earlier, but but thanks for being here.
Okay, big hugs. Thank you. Bye bye. I don't know how to
All
come
right,
out, but I will.
Starfire, I'll help you out. And what's your first name, Starfire? Oh, there you go. Anyway, we thank you all. We thank everybody for, just thank all our guests for being here. We love them all. And so many things are going on tonight. Does anybody have any stories as well, like Starfire did? Oh, Cynthia. Okay, Cynthia. Thank you. And we're interviewing people tonight. And okay, I've got to bring April up here. I knew she was off planet. I knew that's what happened. I've got to bring, this has been a crazy night. Let me, oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? Wait a minute. What am I doing? Hold on a second here. Ay, ay, ay. All right. And, I have 4 days off, folks. Tonight, I have 4 days off from Earth-based work. Breaking news, galactic news, breaking news coming here. April, good evening, sister.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
I knew you were taken off planet earlier for some reason. I didn't say anything. I said, something's going on here. Welcome
Yeah,
back.
yeah. It was quite the something. I met Ashtar.
Oh, you met Ashtar. So for people who don't
Yep.
understand anything, just to give a background, for new people, April and I are really good friends, and she's like a sister to me. I'm like a brother, and our parents are on a spaceship of the Ashtar Command, and the Astro Command are, to express it, are the galactic levels of light, men and women from other planetary systems here to help have helped many planetary systems throughout eons of time, and now Earth is a planet that's being helped, and we are part of what is called the Ashtar Command. My friend April's here with me. I knew for some reason I knew you were being taken. I didn't want to say anything. Tonight was crazy as it was with the guests I had on. I said, something else is going on here. So,
Yeah,
April,
I
welcome
started
back.
watching your show, and then poof, they
You
came.
were gone. I knew as soon as you were
Yep.
gone, I said, you wouldn't just don't go off. You were taken on the ship again.
Yep.
Um, so tell us
And
about
for
Ashtar.
those
Ashtar.
of you who, and wait a minute, just for starters, okay. For those of you who are wondering if the moon is really a rock or whatever, it is actually a space station.
Yeah,
It is actually an intergalactic space station.
it's a ship.
Just
Yeah.
confirming it. But
People need to
so
know
yeah,
that, and energies have been crazy tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to April. So when I got on here, you were on here for a few minutes. I said, "Oh, she's not here anymore." But her phone was on TikTok, but she wasn't on TikTok because she was on the spaceship. So tell us about. We talked about Ashtar last night, and he spoke. He
he
was on
came.
this.
He greeted me. He greeted me when I got on the ship. He greeted me. He was there waiting for me. Um and yeah, we had quite the conversation. And he's really nice. Um and he had talked about Athena because I asked him about it because I knew you would want to know.
Yes,
Yeah, he had asked, and so I said that my good friend was in contact with her, and that he misses her a lot. He can't wait for
yes,
her
he
to be
does.
home. So he also said that. So if you talk to her, that maybe you can pass that on.
Well, I
I'm
will.
sure
I'll
she
probably
knows, but
yeah. I'll be calling her this before the weekend.
yeah, he really really loves her a lot.
Oh, he
He
does.
he talks so sweetly about her, but anyways, so yeah, so I got to meet him, and I wanted to let you know that. And yeah, he's really something. He's very very knowledgeable, very very wise. He's funny. um I did not, I guess one thing I was very thrown back by is I thought he was going to be very I don't know, very formal. And I mean, he was to a point, because like when I met our parents were very formal.
Yeah,
And until they got to, until I got around them a few times, then they
yeah.
relaxed a lot. But I expected him to be more formal. And he was when I first got on planet, and on, oh, I'm sorry, not on planet, on the ship.
Yeah.
And he goes, there she is. He goes, there's the famous earthling. And I started laughing at him. And he goes, you know who I am? And I looked at him. I looked at him and I said, I've seen you. And he goes, yeah. He goes, we made eye contact. And I said, yes, we did. And he goes, well, I'm formally introducing myself. He goes, because your name has become quite the word amongst the galaxy. And I was like, it has. Yeah, I was really thrown back by this. Apparently, I'm quite famous
You
throughout the
are. You are
galaxy.
quite famous in the galaxy.
It's because of my contacts though with the Bigfoots and the fairies. I was not aware, like, I mean, I knew that they worked with the
with the Ashtar Command, but I wasn't aware like how integrated they really are on all the planets, and I guess they really speak highly of me, and that made me feel really good because I really do love my Bigfoot family down here. I do,
Hell
I
yeah.
do. And and so I guess they I gue- I guess my name is being spread around, so that he had to come meet me. He said he really
Yeah.
needed to come and meet me in person, um and we had some traveling to do, and he's going to be at some point taking over part of my training,
Hmm.
as well, and then all the groups will be brought in at separate times and be trained
Right.
as well. Um, but he's there's like specific training specifically for me, I guess, that I have to go through,
Yeah.
and then I guess I'm supposed to bring that stuff back to you guys. Anyways, that's a topic we'll talk about privately, but
Right. We will
um
privately.
yeah, but so yeah, and he was very he had like he was quick to the jokes,
He was.
quick to a comment, and I just thought that was really cool. Um and so he's actually very nice. He looks like he's about 28 years old.
Yeah.
He doesn't look any older than that, like 28, maybe
Can you
30,
describe, April, when you met Ashtar,
hmm
what he looked like in terms of how tall he was, how long his hair was, or how short his hair was? Can you describe that for our viewers?
He's not blonde, that's for sure.
He's
He's
not.
brown
See,
hair.
that's it. Then. He's
He has
brown hair.
dark.
See.
Yep. Because
Yeah.
everybody thinks that they're all blonde. They are not all blonde. Some of them have brown hair too. The ones I have seen have some of them have like light brown hair. Some of them have dark brown
Yeah.
hair, but they all have like the same um not all the same, but they all
Right.
have like similar facial features. They
Yeah.
are all very tall, very fit. I have yet to see any one of them that are like heavy set or not taking care of themselves.
Right.
And they all have flawless skin. And the eyes, though, the eyes are what really gets you.
Yeah.
Most of their eyes are like a piercing blue. Not all their eyes are blue. Some of them are green.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
far that I've seen. So yeah, and then so we so yeah, we I'll have to talk to you about the rest of it later on.
Yeah.
I have to talk to
But
all
did
you
he?
guys
Did
about it.
did Ashtar? Who I've always felt connected with Ashtar when I used to talk to him years ago with Athena when we were together.
hmm
Um, Did they give any more indication of thing? It seems like the timeline is changing for the groups, and this is my own inner energy. I mean, I pick up on things, even though I don't know exactly
What do you mean
when.
changing
But
for the groups?
what?
What do you mean changing for the
Well,
groups?
not changing in a positive thing. I'm feeling like we're going to be, as a group, coming together more sooner, whatever that means, sooner than the sooner than we
No,
thought we
they're
were going to
not
be.
giving me, Commander. They're not giving me any
Well,
specific
I know
time
that.
or anything like that. They won't. They will not do that.
No. Whoops.
When they do it, they're just going to do it, and
Yeah.
that's because they don't want to give any indication of time because they don't see time and space the same way we do.
No,
That's
it's
just for
different.
starters. So
It's totally different than we
yeah,
are.
and
Absolutely,
then
I know
the
that.
second
Well,
thing
I'll make sure I'm not driving in a
is
car when it
they don't
happens.
want to give any they don't want anything being leaked out to the government or
Oh,
anything like
that's
that
good
and
too.
to any
Yeah.
of the governments
Yeah.
because they don't because we can't have our missions disrupted.
No.
So when
No.
they
You know what?
come, they'll
That makes
come, that's it.
absolutely. That makes
Yeah, you
absolute
know what I'm
sense
talking
too,
about,
April.
you know why.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Yeah,
It makes sense for them not to tell us anything like that when they're going to bring us together that way. They'll just do it, and the
right,
government doesn't even know anything.
right,
That's the
and that way
safest way to do
nothing
it.
is leaked out, not that
Yeah.
nobody's expecting nothing, and then we're not being watched, and that way
Yeah.
nothing
No, I think they're doing it right. I
Well,
think that's exactly the
because of our
right way
mission.
for them to do it. Yeah, absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Well, you've definitely brought a different energy from what we had earlier. I was trying to assist and help people, but it looks like they didn't want any help, and so therefore we have to respect that, right? And we can only help people that want to be helped. So that there you go. And it's so beautiful, that you got to meet Ashtar. I think that was a beautiful thing. I hope she's not being taken off planet again.
No, it's my phone, Commander. I'm gonna hop off for a few minutes. I gotta take care of
Okay,
something real quick. I'll come back. I'll be back in a few minutes.
no problem. Take care of what you need to do. You just got back on planet. You had a long trip. You're back. Take care of what you need to do, and we'll bring you back up when you request it. All right.
Okay.
Let me. I'll bring you down for a minute. There we go. All right. April will be back. April is not going off planet again. She already did go off planet tonight. Met Ashtar, and she'll be back. This night's becoming really interesting. We go from we're going from one end of the pendulum to back to the other way. Back. I'm really here, even though it looks like I'm fading out into the earth. I'm still here. Good evening, everybody. Wherever you may be, you're watching me. That actually did rhyme in this time. And if you have a story to tell, if you've had contact with space people, if you've had visitations with fairies, merpeople, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, who are you? Mike, good to meet you, Mike. We are CmdrAleon. I'm the host of a show called Encounters here. I'm the host for 21 years on NPR radio of the Cosmic Eye radio show. I still do it for 21 years, Ashtar Command Radio, on a non-commercial NPR Pacifica radio station. And I'm also from Mars. So just to give you a little bit of background, Mike, I'm from Mars originally. I work with the Ashtar Command or the Ashtar Galactic Command, which are the positive space people from other planetary worlds. I came here on mission Earth in this human form to bust the matrix. That's what I'm here to do. Beyond busting the matrix, I'm here to do this show that brings everybody together to hear other people's stories about their encounters, visitations, all of these things that are related to disclosure. We're all about disclosure on this show, for sure. So that's a little bit of our C5 is going to be happening Saturday night in an apple orchard field live on TikTok. Do I have a human mom? She passed, Greg. Good question. My mom and my dad both passed, my human mom and dad. My cosmic mom and my cosmic father and my two sisters and brother are on an Ashtar Command spaceship. And my mother, her name is Luna, and my father's name is Robar. And I have two sisters and a brother that are on an Ashtar Command ship that I'll be meeting at some point probably within 12 months. This is my own guesstimation. We won't know when it's going to happen. They'll just come and take me on the ship. I won't even know. I could be in my living room, and the next thing you know, I could be doing a live broadcast. Bam, I'm gone, and I'm on the spaceship. So that's a little bit of background. So I did have a human mother and father. They've been gone for years. But I have a cosmic mom and father that are on a spaceship. And if people aren't sure what that's like or what that means, feel free to ask me. I can certainly answer your question on that whole realm as well, without a question. So welcome to Encounters. This is a great night. It's 1:23 in the morning, and there's no thing I have to do tomorrow. I wish to see a space being with my own eyes. Dia Rizzo. So Dia Rizzo will help you out. The way to do that is not just to see any space being, but to connect with your star family. And how do you do that? So, Dia, if you focus on meditation, Dia, I would say to you, do you meditate? Do you do any meditation, Dia? I'm reading comments here. How did you find your cosmic mom? My friend April, who was on here, who's a friend of mine in Vermont, She went on the spaceship months and months and months ago last year, and we met through my show here, amongst other people that I know here. And she met her parents on the ship, and I met my parent. I didn't meet them yet. She met my parents on the ship. So my parents are on a spaceship, my two sisters and brother that I have not yet met, but I will eventually meet them soon, within probably the next, whenever it is. Whenever it's going to happen, I will meet them. So yeah. And let me see here. Dia, if you wish to meet your star family, it starts with meditation. So when you meditate, you can do the word you or om and do those words in meditation. And as you center yourself, center within, just say that you're a Christed being of light and you would like to meet your star family. Simple as that. You're a Christed being of light. You wish to meet your star family, and listen to see what comes of the meditation. You can do 30-minute meditations a day or in the evening or wherever you are. You could be out in the woods somewhere on a beach that's empty. Wherever you feel comfortable, do that meditation. And eventually, as you meditate and say, I'm a Christed being of light, I wish to connect to my star family, you will eventually have communications with them. As simple as that. It's not complicated. There's no rituals here. It's as simple as communicating straight to straight consciousness. Straight to straight consciousness. Crystal, thank you for the puff heart. We appreciate it. And that's how you could begin the beginnings of reaching out to your star family. Crystal, thank you for the heart. We appreciate that very much. Greg says, within 3 feet of me, of my face, and I tried to communicate with his mind. Interesting, Greg. Let me see here. And so, Greg, you've had an experience. Greg has had an experience. I'm reading Greg's comment. Gail Murray, I have witnessed UFOs in Vermont in 4 different occasions. Also believe I had a Bigfoot encounter. Gail Marie, we're going to bring you up here if you'd like to come up, Gail Marie. Would you like to talk about your UFOs in Vermont? And also, you believe you had a Bigfoot encounter. We'd like to hear your story. And Nurse 73, my mom and I had an awesome experience around 1978 when I was 5. Yes, I do see you, Ashley. Good evening. Don't be nervous. It's all good. And actually, you could go on camera, Gail, I think. You have, how many followers do you have? Yeah, so Gail, if you turn your camera on, don't be afraid. Don't be nervous. This is a place where everybody is respected here. Welcome to the show.
Good evening.
Can you, let me bring my audio up. I just about can hear you. Can you talk a little bit into the microphone?
Can you hear me?
A little bit more.
Can you hear me now?
I think it's better. Yeah, just talk a little bit. You'll have to, I don't know if it's your mic, turn your microphone up. Press the volume button on your phone. It'll bring your mic up.
Okay, it's up.
That's much better.
Is it better?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay.
tell us, you're in Vermont?
No, I'm in New Hampshire now. When I lived in Vermont. It was in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And
And so tell us
first,
when, go ahead,
well,
share your story.
first it started off with having a dream that the UFO was coming around my home. And it made me quite nervous in the dream. I remember looking out the window, and I could see it flying around. And I'm thinking, where am I going to run and hide, to escape, because I didn't know. I was nervous on it. And all of a sudden it landed in my front yard. And this was in my dream. And when it landed, it was a saucer shape, and it had, like on one of those backhoes, the bucket loaders that have
Yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
things that come down to support it. Well,
Yeah.
those came out of the ship, but the saucer was camouflaged, and what came out of it were
like military people. That was in my dream. And so
In the dream. Okay. Well,
yes,
let's see, we're talking about your dream at the moment. Go ahead.
at the moment, that's what started it. And then one night, and so I woke up from that dream. It made me nervous. And then one night I was outside with a friend who happened to drive the Cabot milk truck.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, we were out watching the stars and that, and we saw a triangle UFO. It was like 3 stars in the shape of a triangle, but it was so big that you couldn't see anything in the middle, like, any other stars or anything.
Yeah.
And it was the following day that I had read in the paper that in Massachusetts, I think it was Massachusetts, it was along that area where a triangular UFO was spotted.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so that was then. We just watched it. It went over my house. And then and another time was I was on my way to the school to bring my children for some kind of activity that was going on there. It was in the evening, early evening. We were going down the road, and these bright lights caught my attention. And it was over like the tree line above a gift shop. And
Wow.
yes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? I had my kids with me and my niece. My niece was driving, she had her permit. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys see that light, those lights? They were huge. Like it was 3 or 4 big lights right above that gift shop. And so I'm looking at it, and we were on a flat stretch. Nobody was on the road. It was just us. We were on that flat stretch, and we were going slow because we were in awe by what is that? Next thing you know, one light fades out, the next light fades out, and the next light fades out, and then a whole nother set of lights appear.
Wow.
And then those fade out. It was almost like they were playing music, or, where those lights were fading out and then the other ones appeared again. Right
How'd you
next.
feel? How'd you feel when that was happening, by the way?
I was in awe. I was very nervous. And my niece says, do you want me to pull over? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I even had a camera, like it was one of those throwaway cameras, because back then we didn't have, all that. Anyways, so I got nervous. We had to get to the school too. But we were in awe.
Yeah. I would be too.
I said, when we get to the truck stop, pull over, and if we still see it, pull over, and then I'll feel safe enough to get out. But as we went by the gift shop, I was looking above the tree lines and I could still see it. And then we went up over the hill and down over by the truck stop, and we pulled in and we couldn't see it.
Oh, you couldn't see it anymore. Okay.
No. And I remember when I got to the school, I asked the state trooper who lived down the road, I asked his wife if she happened to see anything on her way. And she said, no. I said, oh, okay. And she kind of snickered about it.
Right.
So it just kept on my mind. And then when I got home, I called the state police barracks in town there and asked them if they've gotten any reports or anything.
Right.
And the lady just kind of laughed at me. And I'm like, well, I'm feeling foolish myself too, but I figured I have to report this,
Right.
And so anyways, and then on another occasion, I was on my way home from work on that same road. I was coming around the curves, and I happened to look up, and there was a straight line of lights, and they were the same distance apart, but they were keeping in the same distance apart as they were moving straight. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? And it was like a stick, almost a stick. You couldn't see in between, but all you
Mhm.
did, I could see was the light. So I went up by my house, turned around, and I decided to follow it. And managed to go by the truck stop, and then went to go by the high school. I
Yes.
pulled across the school to watch to see if it was coming, and it did, and it stopped over the school,
Wow.
and the same motion, like all of them in the same motion, turned like straight, but turned to go
Mhm.
back toward where I was from. So I'm like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, all right. And I did get pictures, but all my pictures got kind of deleted after I split up with my ex
Yes.
there. So,
Yes.
anyways, so it started going back. It went over the highway, and then over P&H truck stop. And then I'm like, oh my gosh. So I rush home. I run in the house and I grab the kids. I say, come on, we got to go up on the hill. We got to go up on the hill. So we went up on the hill that's up in back of my house. And it's way up at the top, and it's by some granite sheds, and there's a granite where they get granite from up there.
Right.
Uh,
Bedrock.
yes, yes. Anyway, so we get up on the hill, and I'm telling you, the sky was full of them.
Wow.
Full of them. I was actually quite nervous, but I had, my kids who were older at the time, so I felt, we had 2 cars so we could get out of there if we needed to. And they were putting on such a show up there, flying around. But when I say the sky was full of them, it was full of them.
A lot of ships, a lot of spaceships. Did you get any feeling, and this is Encounters, a late night UFO talk show, spiritual UFO talk show with CmdrAleon and Gail Marie. Did you get any sense of like a feeling of love, or what were you getting from seeing all those ships?
Well, I was getting, the excitement of witnessing it.
Oh, you got to talk back into your phone. You're low again.
I'm sorry. I was feeling the excitement of being able to witness it,
Yeah.
but also nervous at that time too, just
Yeah.
because of not knowing,
Yeah.
I didn't feel threatened. I don't know why, because I stood out there. I mean, I got out of the car and I just stood there watching them. All of us did. And then we're like, okay, we've got to start going,
Yeah.
So we went back down on the hill. And
Wow.
yes. And then there were other occasions. My ex and I would go out, we'd take the kids camping out on a friend's property, which is in a swamp area. So we'd go out there quite often. Well, one night we went out there just to sit and watch the stars because it's dark out there and you could see the sky good.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we start hearing trees crashing.
Wow. Trees crashing.
Yes. And when I say crashing, crashing. So we're like, oh my gosh, what is that? And we were in a F-250 pickup truck. So it's a big pickup truck. Was sitting there, and my ex says, that's somebody going down the dirt road. I said, that is not a dirt road.
Right.
That is not. I know what a dirt road sounds like, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, it's quiet. And then we heard the tree crashing again, but it was getting closer.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like this or not, I was really nervous. And then we heard a car. I said, that's a car. And that's across the swamp, because we have to cross over the swamp to get into the middle of the field.
Right.
And it's pure woods up there.
Yeah. No, I know the area. I mean, that area.
Yeah. And so anyways, it's quiet. And quiet. Then all of a sudden, louder trees crashing. Closer it got. it got louder.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, it got silent. And I'm like, okay, I'm pushed in the middle of the truck because I don't want to be near the window because I don't know what it is. And then all of a sudden, bang, in the side of the pickup truck,
Yeah.
it moved the pickup truck sideways.
Wow.
And I'm like, did you hit the truck? He goes, how could I hit it that hard to move it? You know, because
Right.
he was sitting there and I thought he reached his hand out or something like that. But it literally moved the truck sideways.
Wow.
So immediately my ex flipped the truck on and we went in a complete circle. We were in the middle of
Hmm.
the field. We did
Okay.
not see a thing. Not
You didn't
one
see it.
thing.
Okay. You're in the middle of a field and you don't see anything at that point, correct?
Absolutely nothing.
So the thing that you have the truck in the field, right, at that moment,
Yes.
and the thing is hitting or pushing the truck,
No, it slammed into the truck.
it landed.
I
So it
don't
landed in the field.
I don't know
Your
if it
truck's there.
no, see, I think it was a Bigfoot.
A Bigfoot. Okay.
Okay. I think that incident was the Bigfoot.
Ah, okay. So the Bigfoot was there with you as well, but you didn't see the Bigfoot.
No.
Okay.
I didn't see it, but you know, we heard the trees crashing
Yeah.
and all that. And then whatever slammed into the side of the truck, which made it move sideways, like literally move the truck sideways.
You think it was the Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
And
based on what you're telling me, now I understand. I think you're
yes.
probably right that it was probably a Bigfoot
Hmm.
because up in that part of that was that in Vermont or New Hampshire?
Vermont.
Vermont. Well, if you listen to Friends with Fairies, she has
I do.
Bigfoots on her property in the remote area up in northern Vermont near the Canadian border.
Yes. I had wanted to connect with her before about it.
Yeah, she'll be back
Because
on.
yeah, I did literally, I believe it was Bigfoot because a lot of loggers in that area, they've always said that there's been sightings of Bigfoots in that
Yeah,
area.
yeah, oh,
And
yeah,
also in my home, at my home, you know, I'd sit out back on my patio out back and it's pretty private. I mean, there, you know, we have the road in the front of the house. It's just a side street. Um, but I would have things thrown at me out of nowhere. Like one time, a few times it was rocks,
yeah.
and other times it was like acorns, but we don't have any acorn trees around there.
Yes, yeah, that's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yes,
Well, the Bigfoot are also interdimensional beings too. So they,
exactly.
as April has talked about, the Bigfoot that live on her property, they work with the Ashtar Command and they help the Ashtar Command too.
Right. Well, and that's why I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's a connection there
Hmm.
with, you know, the UFOs that I've seen and that incident there out in the swamp.
Hmm. Oh,
And there was
absolutely. Very interesting.
and there was
Yeah.
another time crossing over the highway by the truck stop. Um, I looked down the highway and I saw a shiny object crossing over the highway. It wasn't a plane because it was too low.
Yeah.
But it crossed over the highway and it went toward like Newberry area.
Oh, Newberry, I know where that is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I
Interesting.
used to have a pizza place in Bradford.
So, I mean, your experiences are they somewhat continuous, meaning that they happen regularly for you up in New Hampshire?
In Vermont?
In Vermont. Well, you're in New Hampshire now, though,
I'm
right?
in New Hampshire now, but this was in Vermont when I lived in Vermont.
Yeah, when you lived in Vermont. So,
Yeah.
what's happening with you in New Hampshire? Are you in an area in New Hampshire where there are similar things possibly happening?
Well, I'm beginning to think that I am seeing it, and I did comment on one of your show on one of your lives
Yeah.
that I look out my bathroom window out back because I have woods. It's all woods out back. It's my property, And right above the tree line, because I like to watch the stars out my bathroom window because it's dark out there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this bright light, and it was bright, and it was shining at, like it just appeared. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is that going to hit the house?
Right.
And all of a sudden, it's gone. And then it
Wow.
happened
Yeah.
again. It happened again in the same exact spot. And I'm like, oh, so I'm running for my phone and then, or my camera to run back to get a picture, and it was gone.
Yeah. No, I do understand that for sure.
And I've
Very
also,
interesting. Very
yeah,
interesting.
and I've also seen over here, um, like when it was cloudy. I want to say it was probably a few years ago, and it was like I think we could see the northern lights at that point, but I really could swear I could see stars moving around up above it, like around in that area.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say you're having some beautiful things, and you're in a place where a lot of that activity is happening with the Bigfoot,
Yes,
which are definitely interdimensional beings in Vermont. When you lived in Vermont, what part of Vermont did you live in?
I lived in South Reigate, so it's
Where,
actually. Have you ever heard of P&H Truck Stop?
no, I do know. I used to live in Plainfield, Vermont, in Washington County, outside of Montpelier.
All right, so I lived east of, basically east, a little southeast of where April lives.
Okay, so you're a little bit southeast of April, so you were in that same area up where she is.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh, we have to hook you guys up.
I mean, I'm telling you, it was real active, and I've been dying to go up in that area again,
Hmm.
just to check it out maybe and
Yeah.
just sit up on the hill and see if anything happens again. I don't know.
Yeah, it could. I mean, obviously, wherever you are, I think it can happen. Like you're in New Hampshire now,
Yeah.
I think you could facilitate contact from your previous experiences in Vermont. I do think the part of New Hampshire you're in, is that more northern or central, or where is it?
Central.
More,
Well, yeah, I want to say probably central.
is it a lot of wooded area, hilly area, mountainous area, or is it
Yeah, I got
more of
a mountain in back of my house.
you do?
Yeah, it's a hill mountain, I guess. I call it a mountain.
You call it a
Um,
mountain,
I
okay.
have 11, yeah, I have 11.2 acres of land.
Oh wow, 11.2 acres.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're definitely going to have activity there, without a question in my mind. With
Yeah.
11.2 acres, yeah,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
get nervous to go out at night by myself. If I want to go
Yeah,
out and get any pictures, I have to either get my brother or somebody to go out with me,
yeah, absolutely.
just because of the bears and stuff.
No, yeah, you don't want to have the bears chasing you. That's not the thing you want to do out there for sure. For
Right.
people that are not in New England or live up in New England, we have these things like when I lived in Vermont, and I lived in New Hampshire in Franconia Notch. I went to school up there, and I lived in Plainfield, Vermont, and so that's all the northern part of the state. And we saw plenty of spaceship activity in New Hampshire and in Vermont when I lived in Plainfield.
Yes.
A
My
lot of
sister
spaceship
lived
activity
in
back in the 70s.
Yeah, my sister lived in Franconia, but now she
Yeah,
lives in Arizona.
yeah. No, we had weird experiences up in Franconia, New Hampshire, back in the 70s,
Wow.
and also in Plainfield, Vermont. Plainfield, Vermont, we saw a reddish spaceship object north of the campus I was living in a cooking dorm, and we had a few people that actually saw it, and then we had other activity over the skies of the campus. They were way in the sky. We saw all kinds of spaceship activity at the time. This is back about late 1970s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe that. I believe
yeah,
that. Another thing that used to happen when we'd go out in the swamp area, because we used to like camp out there.
yeah.
Um, we were in that field, and I could see orbs out
Oh, you
there.
saw orbs. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And what were you getting about the orbs? What did you feel about those orbs that you were saying?
It didn't scare me. The orbs
Mm-hmm.
didn't scare me at all. I just found them fascinating. And it was always when, I'd see them with my peripheral, but also when I'd take pictures, I was taking pictures of my ex, and one happened to be in the back of him in the tree line. And I'm like, okay, that is not an animal. And that's nothing else. There's nothing else in that little section of the tree line because we walked by it all the time.
Right.
So I believe it was orbs right there. And I do have a picture of that. It's on my old laptop. And then orbs around like where we'd have the campfire and around
Yeah.
the tent area. And then
What were the color of the orbs? Papa Jay's asking in our audience.
white.
What color were they?
They were white.
They were white. Okay.
Yes.
Whoops. So white orbs. Interesting. Were they big or were they small? What would you say?
I would say the one that was in the wooded area was a little bigger.
Hmm?
And then the ones around the fire were a little bit smaller.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, orbs are very interesting. They're what we call extraterrestrial orbs, which could change form, and then there are those that are non-terrestrial orbs. But did you have a feeling that these orbs were extraterrestrial or non-terrestrial in your estimation? Excuse me.
Well, I'm not really sure, to be honest, because I
Yeah,
really
and that's
didn't
okay.
feel any threat. I didn't feel
Yeah,
threatened by it. Because
that's good.
right. I'm spiritual too. So like
Yeah,
I feel a lot of different things.
yeah. No, I mean, because you are spiritual, you would know right off the bat.
Right.
Well, we're actually getting into about 1:51 in the morning on the east coast of the planet Earth. And we're going to start slowly winding down till tomorrow night. And Saturday night, we're going to be live in an apple orchard field. And the weather in New England is going to be perfect, people. We're going to actually be live on TikTok in an apple orchard field with our equipment, our night vision equipment. We're going to be doing a spiritual meditation. And we're going to try to communicate with our space family through having them show their spaceships in the skies above us, above the apple orchard field in Connecticut. So
And that's
that's going to
tomorrow
be
night.
Saturday night. Say
Oh,
again?
Saturday night.
Saturday night. We're going to be live on my show Encounters with our special broadcast in the field. We're going to be in an apple orchard field and facing the cameras into space and seeing what we through meditation. Hopefully, we'll have some interactions with our space family with their spaceships.
Oh, I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah. Any final words that you want to say before we close down for the night?
I thank you for allowing me to tell my story. I've been waiting to
Yeah.
tell it, but I've been nervous.
Yeah. No, I understand that. And see, you don't have to be nervous anymore because we actually try to respect everybody that comes on here.
Well,
Now I have
I actually had one of the I think he was one of the head ones of MUFON in Vermont who
yeah.
wanted to talk to me about it. He was
Oh,
working
interesting.
he was working at the courthouse at the time.
Oh,
And
interesting.
yeah, and I had told him because I had to go up there, had to do with my children and stuff. Anyways, he was very kind, but he was quite interested in my story. But I
Yeah.
never
No, I can
got
imagine.
yeah, I never got in contact with him. I was just nervous about it.
Yeah. Well, now you don't have to be nervous anymore because you've been on Encounters and you know how the show works. And now we know the truth about your story, and everybody does, which I think is phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I
It
think,
was
yeah, so we appreciate you being on here. We have another person that wants to come up here. Oh, they disappeared. But Tomorrow night, we're going to do on Friday night more interviews with people on encounters. If you have a story to tell regarding spaceship activity that you're documenting, if you're having contact with space people, if you're documenting activity or whatever, mer people, fairies, anything with the galactic areas, we'll be happy to interview you on your encounters. And again, show your support for the show. Become a subscriber. We have 2,400 subscribers right now. Show your love for what we do here. And again, Gail, thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for listening.
All right. Very good. Let's do this here. And so show your support for my show here. We're on here most nights. Sometimes we will take a break. Um, we'll sometimes take a break, maybe one night every few weeks to take a break to recenter. But show your support. You can do that right now. I do have a goal set. We've got 5 more hats to go, and I will do the special word if I get those hats each time. I will do something that happens when I get the brown hat with the mustache. I do want to get those 5 hats off the shelf to show your support for what we do here, the mission work we're doing here on the show, and we can. Thank you. So every time I see that hat, it makes me do this, and I really have no control over that happening. It's always when I get that hat, and that will always be the essence of what happens in the show here. So that's the way you can show your support. Thank you. Thank you, Gail Marie. I appreciate that. And you can do what Gail Marie just did. She showed her support for encounters and what we do here. And I have a couple of hats left. We have 3 hats left actually on the shelf, and those hats are available. Alexis, why do I think it happens? You mean the encounters? Alexis, I think you're asking me, why do I think it happens? I believe that's your question. Let's see here. I'm just looking at the screen here, trying to focus a little bit. Well, I want to thank everybody here for watching tonight's most interesting, crazy show. And Gail Marie, how are you? Gail, you're amazing. Thank you. Gail has made me say Tahar more than once. More than once she did. Now I have 2 more hats available. And if you want to get a hat on me, you have to give me a hat. So I can't do anything without the hat. You'll never get me to say that word unless I'm tarring you. All right. So that's what happens. My facial expression changes with a hat. It always is tar, Jackie. I reached my goal. Thank you, Jackie. You all made me reach my goal, and that's the most beautiful thing ever. Tomorrow night, we might do some more hats, I think, so I can reach my goal. And I am very multidimensional, meaning not only am I from Mars, not only do I work with the Ashtar Command, not only am I a serious talk show host on radio for 21 years and have the most popular spiritual UFO talk show on social media, here to Bust the Matrix, but I do have a sense of humor. It might be because I don't come from Earth. Maybe where I come from, everybody's lighthearted and there's a lot of love going on. But I do have a sense of humor. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for your gifts, your support, your viewership. We'll see you tomorrow night again. Thank you, Michelle. We'll see you tomorrow night again with another great show and go to horror, maybe. So hopefully it won't be as crazy as it was earlier in the show, because it was kind of crazy. New friends, good to see you. Welcome back. And we're going to catch everybody tomorrow night. We're going to get some shut-eye here. It's been a long evening, and we'll catch you all later. Take care. Remember to do meditation and keep your eyes to the skies. Rosa, what's your question? Before I go, Rosa has a question. She says, why won't you answer? See, this is the weird thing about TikTok. A person asks me a question, it doesn't show up, and then they say, "Why won't you answer the question?" Why do voice changes? Why do voice changes? Do you think? Why do voices change? I have no idea, honestly. Why do voices change? I couldn't tell you that. And Rosa, try to ask your question again. Sometimes TikTok filters the questions and I don't see them. So ask your questions again. Let me see if it comes over. And like I said, if it doesn't come over, then TikTok is filtering it. Okay. So I don't see her question. I have a feeling it's being filtered. Rosa, I think your question is being filtered. Let's see here. Rosa, let's see, where are you? Rosa, we're gonna actually bring you up here, Rosa. It seems like that's only going to be the way I can answer your question before the show's over. So Rosa, press the multi-guest button. Oh, you're welcome, AK. See, I can get Rosa on the show, but I couldn't see a question. TikTok didn't show me the question on Rosa. Hey, Rosa, good evening. Welcome to the
Hi,
show.
hi, Commander.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Love to listen to you, to your show, and to your guests. I
And we
was
couldn't see
just,
your question, but go ahead.
I was just wondering what happened to Gerico.
That's no longer something we talk about because that was a misinformation deal, and it was almost a big It was a big mistake. We're not going to get into it, but my reconnection back with my star family is what we are really tuned into now. I was getting it was not correct information. That's why. So we don't talk about it anymore. But if you want to talk about the Luna and Robar, and you want to talk about the Ashtar Command people that I'm connected with all my life, that's the beautiful thing is we re-entered into where we were supposed to be. We were a little bit taken off, so we don't use that name anymore. So just think of the word Ashtar Command now, and then you'll be right on in sync with what we're doing now with real contact.
Oh, so it wasn't real?
It was real, but it wasn't what it was. It wasn't what it was supposed to be, and it was a diversion from we were supposed to be doing. I almost got diverted from my true source, and I got redirected by the command back to the center of where I was supposed to be. So everything is good now, and we just don't use that word anymore. So forget. I'm just suggesting, because I send my love to you, is just forget that word exists, that name exists, and put it out of your consciousness.
Okay, gotcha. I was
There
just
you go.
wondering because I never heard about it no more, and
Yeah.
I was just like, I wonder what happened.
But now, as you listen to the show, you're going to be hearing some really good things that's happening with our space family, the Ashtar Command. And tomorrow night, we have
Well,
questions and answers of the Ashtar Command and Contact Night. So tomorrow night, when you watch the show, we will have Contact Night. It'll be our what we call the Ashtar Night. So yeah.
I would love to see some some extraterrestrial. I don't know. I'd love to. That would
No,
happen to me.
honestly. Yeah, no, you will eventually meet your star family. We're finding so many people asking us about their star family, and yeah, tomorrow night we'll do a lot of Q&A with people about their star family within the galactic levels of light, and we always love doing Friday nights Ashtar Command Night, and it's a special night with the command, so you'll be happy to do that.
Hmm. I've got a question, and I don't know if it's just propaganda or whatever. I've heard that people with Rh negative blood that have descendancy uh, from extraterrestrials.
Could be. I honestly, if I always said in my show, if I don't know the answer about the RH blood thing with extraterrestrials, I really don't know that. It could be very true, but I'm not. That's the one thing I'm weak on is the RH blood thing. Some people are much more tuned in than I am. Thank you, AK. Some people are more tuned into that whole thing with the bloodline versus the star people they're related to. I don't have a really good answer on that, so that's one of my only weak points is that whole subject with the RH blood area that some people have talked about here.
Yeah, because there is supposedly there is only 15% of the world
Yeah.
population with it, and
Yes.
I'm just wondering if there has been some mating, going on or something.
Oh, I'm sure there's been. Oh, yeah, absolutely. There have been star people that have had relationships for billions of years on Earth. I'm sure there have been star people that have met Earth people that fell in love with each other and are interconnected in that way. I'm sure throughout the billions of years of Earth history, there has been that kind of connection. I'm just very weak on the subject of the blood area of the RH blood area, so I'm not really I'm not really an expert in that whole thing. More of my expertise is in all the other areas other than that. But it's a good question. I just don't really know a whole lot about how people connect that way.
I happen to have Rh negative, but my
They
parents
do.
both were positive, and
Well,
I
interesting.
I I was like, how come? How could I be your daughter if our bloods are different?
Right. That could be because you're not from Earth, because you came from another planet. Your blood, your beingness, and your blood type it would be very different than your parents. Again, I'm just guessing, but I don't really know that that's true, but it could be.
And I end up in having 4 kids, and they all are O's negative,
Yeah.
and my husband is positive. So,
Yeah.
and I see it on the media that it's possible to be um, from extraterrestrial blood. It just kind of got me. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I wonder if they kicked me out of somewhere
No,
down
no, you're
here.
good. You're good. Hey, look, if you're on tomorrow night, watch our show. We're going to be doing our Ashtar Command special, Rosa. So we'd love to have you with us.
I
And
I usually I usually come every day. I'm fascinated with the
oh,
subject.
thank you, thank you. Well, we appreciate you as a viewer and as a participant, and so we're going to be on tomorrow night, and we're going to wind down the show now because it's after 11 in the morning on the East Coast. And I want to thank you for coming up here asking your question too.
Thank you for taking me for answering me.
All right, Rosa,
You
thank you
have a
for
good
being here.
night.
You
See you
too. You
tomorrow.
have a blessed
Bye
night.
bye.
You too. Let me do this here. And really, let's see, folks. We're going to be ending our interviews for tonight. It's been a crazy night. The commander definitely needs to go off planet, and we will. And we will be back on planet tomorrow night at approximately 11 p.m. So join us then for a show that's out of this world, and we have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow night. I certainly hope that it's not going to be as crazy as it was earlier tonight, because that was crazy. I'll tell you. All right, everybody, take care. Have a good night. We love you all. Be well.